Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome into the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's Haley and it's 12:30 on a Wednesday, halfway through your work week. Of course, I'll be with you here for the next 2 hours. Then at 2:30, Ted Perry's taking over. He'll get you all the way to 3:30. This is your first time tuning in here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We bring you news live as it happens. We tend to really focus a lot here on the Wisconsin area. Makes sense, right? Wisconsin Live Desk. But we also bring you the biggest news happening across the country and even sometimes around the world. So we do have a couple things happening right now on the feeds that I'm going to walk you through, starting with this shot right here. As you can see, the First Lady and the Second Lady actually just arrived. And I know our camera's kind of moving around here on the feeds since it's live. Sometimes you get those behind the scenes moments as the photographer still sets up. But just in the last minute, the two of them have arrived here at Lejeune High School out of North Carolina. They're currently doing a visit together to thank military members and their families. Very fitting ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday next week. You can see some members of the military right there in attendance. Once they leave this high school, they're actually going to head over to Delalia Elementary School and hang out with some of the younger students, do some arts and crafts with them. So we'll keep our eye on this feed as they continue their visit today over in North Carolina. Also got our eye on this feed. This would be the House floor. Now, if you missed it yesterday, it was a very big day for the House. We actually here on Wisconsin Live Desk watched them vote in real time on that bipartisan bill that will release the Epstein files. We saw that almost every single person voted yes to pass that bill. There was one nay, a Republican out of, I believe, Louisiana. But then it did go to the Senate. It did pass the Senate. So next, that bipartisan bill will make its way to the president's desk. And President Trump did kind of change his tone on releasing the Epstein files a few nights ago, saying that he will sign that bill once it arrives on his desk. The other thing that we're keeping our eye on right here, this kind of stakeout camera that's set up outside of the Senate floor. We're going to see if we have any senators that take to the podium. I'm sure they'll have some questions for them about that bill that they also passed yesterday to release the Epstein files. And so we'll keep our eye on that one. So the other thing we're going to do is go back, I think, to Lejeune High School. You can see First Lady Melania Trump is addressing the crowd. So let's listen in here together and see what she has to say.
Members, so thank you for that. It's exciting to be here, and I'm sure Usha is happy to be here with us as well. I want to wish you a very wonderful Thanksgiving and safe Thanksgiving. And thank you for your service to all of you. You're part of it, and I hope if you ever come in the White House, you are invited. Please let us know, and we are there. Happy Thanksgiving.
What a cool moment we just got there. Apparently everybody in the crowd's invited to the White House. Melania Trump, the First Lady, saying, hey, if you're ever here, let us know. But of course, also wishing a happy Thanksgiving. Again, crazy to think Thanksgiving is next Thursday, just a little over a week away. Okay, so as I said, we like to really cover the news locally here in Wisconsin. So we're going to do that right off the bat here on the Wisconsin Live Desk this Wednesday afternoon, bringing in our very own Abril Preciado. And this is kind of a cool story, Abril. Normally we hear of little libraries, but they're doing something different right now. Tell me more.
Yeah, so we're actually here in Caledonia. We're at the Little Free Food Pantry here on Middle Road in Caledonia. Once again, as you can see, it is far from little right now. It has grown. Let me have our photographer, Eddie, kind of start over here. So the owner of it told us that it started first with this, what is it, cabinet? Is it called cabinet? With this cabinet. The owner was telling us that it first started off with this. Let me just open it up. You know, it's stocked up with like a lot of food that has been donated, but it started simply with this, and then over time it just started growing. Now obviously, as we can see, you know, there's like, you know, detergent, laundry detergent, there's baby food, there's hygiene products in here, you know, stocked up, and it's something that you know, that the owner said that she started like back in October 23rd when news about SNAP benefits possibly being paused, and the impact that was going to be having on families. So that's pretty much what inspired this to start. And as you can see, it's been just a few weeks, and look how much it's grown. I mean, we just see a lot of it's just very abundant with a lot of food. As we can see, you know, we have our canned goods, milk, we have, like, you know, strawberry jams, we have other supplies up here. And then she also explained that they also have gloves, and also, you know, just a lot of goodies, and also the books, you know, of course, because we also, you know, it's part of like the whole little library situation. But once again, you know, she started this pretty much, and again, it's called the little free pantry. It's mainly just for, you know, for food, to help out folks that are facing right now food insecurity, especially with everything going on. Something that the owner of this little food pantry was telling us as well, as the fact that you know, while SNAP is back and a lot of people have, you know, have been getting again their food share and whatnot, the food insecurity is still out there. I mean, just while we were out here kind of like waiting for our live hit right now, we did see a gentleman come on by and kind of like look through here and see what food to pick up. And it kind of just goes to show, you know, how there's still a lot of food insecurity in the area, and people are still in need of food, you know, because that's still a struggle. People are still seeing the impact with grocery prices and whatnot. But this is pretty much what we're seeing, and we're shedding light into a really good deed in the community. Another cool thing that she told us was that after posting it on social media, it kind of inspired other people in the area to also kind of start their own. She told us about another person in the Milwaukee area also starting her own. We'll see her later on today during our news gathering, but she also has another little free pantry to say at her home, outside of her home as well. And it's just kind of like a cabin like this with food that's stocked up, just kind of like the one we see right here. But yes, it's kind of something that has been going around here. I think it's something really good, and it goes to show how Wisconsinites come together, especially during difficult times like this, because, you know, the holidays are coming, there's food insecurity, grocery prices are high as well, and people are feeling the impact. So, you know, if there's one less thing that parents and families can worry about, you know, keeping a meal on their table or something to eat, obviously this is the right way, you know, to kind of help out.
Yeah, absolutely, Abril. I think you started off this live shot accurately by saying it's really not little. This is so many items that are available right there for those in need. I'm curious, was this one family who collected all these items, or has the community been donating it to this family that's kind of hosting this pantry?
So it first started with the family, and then they started collecting the donations, which is pretty much what they have right now. Now, something interesting that she was telling me, the owner of this specific location here, was telling me that, you know, while it looks like a lot, she says that it's just, you know, for 2 days, and that's how quickly it goes. So definitely the donations have helped out a lot. She said that she's had people kind of just stop by, either stop by and donate, you know, the detergents, donate baby food, which we see down here, a lot of it, you know, donate like pancake mix, pastas, you know, just everything. And that's very helpful, especially during times like this. So definitely, you know, with the help of people that donations, that has really helped keep this momentum going here at this pantry. And obviously it's really nice because then people have more options to kind of like choose from when they come out here for help. Once again, one thing that we were also discussing while we were talking with each other earlier was the fact that, you know, when you think about donating food, many people think like, oh, well, you know, cleaning out your pantry or just canned goods. No, you want to make sure that you donate things that you also personally would want to eat or want to, you know, have in your home and in your kitchen. Like, for example, obviously we need milk. Milk is a necessity. You know, strawberry jam, if you want to make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or use it for something else, you know, tuna, you know, and then even like little fun drinks, like, you know, like sparkling waters, you know, cup of noodles, you know, things like that, just things that you would want to eat. Or even then, like, you know, necessities right now, things are cold. She says that she actually just added the gloves, which she has right here, and they're for, you know, for children, because, you know, as we know, times are tough right now, and sometimes parents, you know, it's a struggle to try to buy necessities for their kids, especially right now during the cold months. So if they can be helped in one small way like this, you know, obviously that makes a difference. So obviously, yes, donations are definitely needed, and that's how this pantry is up and going, and why it looks so full the way that we're seeing it right now.
Yeah, I love Abril seeing the variety of items there. It's true. When you are in need, you need more than just canned foods. You need the gloves, the milk, protein. So it's so cool to see how the community has really stepped up. I know you mentioned, obviously, SNAP funding is back. The government is reopened, but the need is still here in the community. Any idea how long the family plans to host this community pantry?
I mean, right now, from what it looks like, I feel like, at least from what she was telling us, at least as long as, like, you know, the donations keep coming, as explained, the food uncertainty and is still out there. People are still in need of food, and people are still coming out. And that's something that we still keep seeing, and that she says herself that she keeps seeing people coming out here, you know, despite SNAP being back. Yes. So I believe, like, the idea is to keep it running as long as the momentum keeps coming and the donations keep coming as well.
Absolutely. It's always nice to have a story like this on the holiday season, the time of giving, to see the community step up. Abril, when can we catch your full story on Fox Local?
Yeah, so we'll be live later on today at 5 and 6. I had to think about it twice, but yes, later on in our evening newscast, yes.
All right, we'll keep our eye out.
Watch it on our Fox Local.
I'll say, yeah, we'll keep our eye out at 5 and 6 for your live reports, and if we miss it, we'll just head on over to Fox Local and get it there. Thanks so much, Abril.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Always nice to see the community step up in times of need, and I love seeing just the variety of items there. Such a cool idea to go from those little free libraries, which usually just host, you know, books that you can take if you want to read one, drop one off if you have an extra, and now turn it into a community pantry. We actually have some breaking news that I want to get to here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. You might remember last Friday, actually during the Wisconsin Live Desk, we learned of a double shooting that ended up being fatal in the Milwaukee area, and now we know there are charges filed. This is in regards to the Asada High School, who was a high school student who actually had early dismissal, left school on his way about a block away while he was walking, was robbed, ended up being shot and killed. Now we are learning that this 17-year-old there on your screen, Jaquan Robinson, has been charged with first-degree reckless homicide. Again, this is in regards to the shooting last Friday that killed Asada High School student Neymar Hicks. We just got this information into our newsroom. We are working to get the criminal complaint and to learn some more information. Of course, we will pass that along here on the Wisconsin Live Desk as soon as we have new information. We're told that Jaquan Robinson will make his initial appearance later today. We are going to send a crew to the courthouse and see if we can learn any new information. And again, we are actively working to get that criminal complaint. But the 17-year-old there on your screen, Jaquan Robinson, is now charged with first-degree reckless homicide for that shooting last Friday that killed Asada High School student Neymar Hicks. So that's some pretty big breaking news here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Again, we're working to gather more information, and we will absolutely pass that along as soon as we have that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Coming up, we're going to turn our attention to Thanksgiving, which, again, next Thursday. So we have some ideas of how to make your table look extra pretty this year. You're going to want to catch that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Wednesday afternoon, where it is now 12:45. Let's take a live look outside downtown Milwaukee this afternoon. Gotta say, it may still be cold, 42 degrees, but this is looking so much better than it did this time yesterday, where it was just doom and gloom and a whole lot of rain. So I love to see a little bit of sunshine amidst the clouds and just some dry weather today. Again, it's crazy to think about this, but it's already November 19th, which means Thanksgiving is truly right around the corner. I'm not always the best host when it comes to being very creative or DIY, but if you're hosting Thanksgiving and you're really wanting to impress your guests, a great way to start is with a pretty cool centerpiece. So we're gonna bring in the experts today. We are joined here with Lindsay from Flowers for Dreams. Lindsay, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks for having me. And also, it's not just about the one hosting. You can also bring this to a gathering too. So keep that in mind.
Lindsay, that is such a good point. You want to be a guest that doesn't come empty-handed, and this could be a very nice thing to bring and to leave after the Thanksgiving feast. So you're hosting a Thanksgiving centerpiece workshop. What do we got to know?
We are. So yeah, this Saturday we have 2 sessions, and then this Sunday we have 1 session. You'll come in, you'll get yourself a welcome drink, and then our lovely experts will guide you through a workshop to build your very own Thanksgiving centerpiece. So you'll pick between this beautiful stone vase or this vase, this gold bronze vase that kind of mimics a pumpkin, which I think is so cute for the fall season. It kind of really just drives home, obviously, it being Thanksgiving and everything. And then, yeah, we'll walk you kind of through how to put certain stems where and what looks good on your table, and then obviously how to take care of them afterwards. If this centerpiece workshop is happening this weekend, a lot of our questions are, well, will it last until Thanksgiving? And it will if you take care of your flowers. So.
Oh, that's great to know that these will stay put for a little bit. My big
Yeah.
question for you, when I look at those arrangements, these centerpieces in front of you, I think those are beautiful, but there's no way that I could do it because I'm not a DIY person. Can I do this workshop? Will I still leave with something pretty?
Okay, I'll tell you this. My mom was so afraid to take a class years and years ago, and then she took one and she's addicted to them now. And she's not the craftiest either. So we really, really do walk you through it. And if you can't do it, actually, that's not even true. You can't do it. Anyone can do it, but we'll walk you through it and we'll make you feel really confident about it. And we have our beautiful designers that can help you every step of the way. So there's really nothing to worry about. And also, if you think about it, everybody likes flowers. Flowers really can't be not beautiful, but you can mess up a Thanksgiving dish. So I don't know. I'm just saying flowers might be the easier way to go here.
This is such a good point. And also, you can't get sick from, a floral arrangement. You can if you have undercooked something, cross-contamination. This is an excellent point that Lindsay is making here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm curious, too. I imagine that these workshops probably create a sense of community amongst those who attend.
They're so much fun. Honestly, I think everybody that joins these workshops really wants to be here and you want to learn new skills so that maybe next Thanksgiving you can do this at your house, and even make a couple more. But yeah, I think everybody that joins these just has like such a blast, and they use it if you're coming to like the noon class and you go out to brunch beforehand or you get a cocktail or a mocktail afterward. It's really a no-brainer. They're so much fun.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so since I have you here and you are the expert of all things centerpieces,
yes,
what are some of like the keys to having a really nice centerpiece?
Okay, I mean, there's a lot of keys and everybody does it differently, right? So this one is completely done. So I just wanted to show one that was done. This one is completely greened out. And I think the biggest key takeaway is definitely start with a sturdy base of greenery, because that's really going to help you kind of put your floral in where you want it, and then it'll stay where you want it. So in this, we just use chicken wire, so everything compostable. After you take that chicken wire out and throw it away, like this can completely go in a compost bin. But then once you stick that in, you'll see like it's not going to move. It's pretty sturdy in there. And I think that is my biggest key anyway for doing any arrangement in this style.
I love that. Okay, so what kind of flowers do you have in front of you right now?
Okay, ton of different kinds of flowers. So we have snapdragon. We kind of have this like orange pink snapdragon. We've got mums right here. There's some dried pods that we're gonna have offered in the classes this weekend. We have roses. We have spray roses. Safari sunset, which is a really nice kind of like sturdier stock. But I don't know if you can see this, I can get it any closer, but just a ton of different variety and a different fall colors that kind of just get you in the mood to entertain or eat, honestly.
So this is also another total advantage to going to your workshop, is that you will have all of this variety of flowers at our fingertips, which I imagine would be hard for one person to collect on their own. When you're arranging, I was once told, and I'm curious if there's truth to this, to stick to odd numbers. Is that what you go by, or does that not matter?
That's actually a really good point. I think there's something to be said about having sort of like a different odd, so that everything's not just like the same on like symmetrically. I kind of like the asymmetric look, and I think that comes with odd numbers just randomly. But that's one of those things that I think you can play around with in workshops like this. The cool thing is that you're going to leave here and everybody's arrangement is going to look different after getting the same amount of stems. And it's cool to see everybody's arrangement look completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite flower of the ones around you?
Oh my gosh, I get asked this a lot. It changes. I think working in this environment, it always changes. I'm like very into these mums right now.
That's
just
beautiful.
These like, they open up so wide and they're so pretty, and they're also such a sturdy flower, and they last quite a long time. So I'm gonna go with that.
I like that one. No, it's looking beautiful right there in your arrangement. Obviously, we're going to go to the workshop for all the tips and tricks, but I'm curious,
Yes.
How often should I be changing the water?
That's a really good question. So some tricks and tips to keep your arrangement lasting longer is you're going to want to change the water probably daily.
Okay.
It really does depend where you're going to keep this. I would suggest, if you want it to last into Thanksgiving and after, to keep this in a darker place, out of any direct sunlight and away from any heating vents. I think that's something that we continue to forget as we're warming up our houses, is that we don't want these in any hot areas in our houses. And then just keep them in like a cool, dry place until then. And then obviously change the water daily, cut the stems as you need to. The stems will tell you when they're not happy. They'll get a little softer at the end, and just to trim those off. And it should really last until that final weekend.
Okay, also an excellent reminder on the heating vents, because I finally just turned the heat on in my place, and you're right, I wouldn't think, oh, this is a bad spot for my arrangement, so that's great. The other thing I'm noticing, especially as I look at your completed arrangement there, is we're using different heights.
Absolutely. So I like to use different heights. Again, this is all personal preference. You don't have to do anything, but I like to stick kind of these cooler, this is a dried pod right here, but I like the way that this looks. So I stuck it a little higher and in like toward the back and center of the arrangement so that it kind of stands out more. But yeah, and I like to fill up sort of some of the lower spaces right here. So you'll see like these orange spray roses are a little bit lower than that. And yeah, I think offering different heights is really a pretty way to go.
Yeah, no, these are looking stunning, the ones in front of you. So I know we're going to want to sign up. Give me all the details. Where do we sign up?
Okay.
How much does it cost? Walk us through it.
I will. Okay, so flowersfordreams.com, and you can go to the events tab, and you'll find it right in sign up for a workshop. For your viewers, we actually have a code. If you type in Fox Flowers, you'll get 15% off of your tickets. Again, the workshops this weekend are Saturday at noon and 3 p.m. and then Sunday at noon. So there's 3 different sessions that you can come into. None of them are completely full yet, but definitely get your tickets. I would say today or tomorrow morning at the latest, because they will fill up.
Yeah, and while we have you, are you guys working on anything for the Christmas season?
We are. Oh, I'm so glad you asked, actually. So we actually have these workshops offered for the holiday season as well. We have some really fun ones. One of our most popular workshops of the year is our Evergreen Wreath workshop. So we'll take it from we'll take you from using a wire wreath frame, and then we'll build that evergreen around it, and then you'll decorate it with different kind of things that we have here in our studio. We also have a holiday arrangement workshop that's very similar to this vibe, but obviously leaning more into those holiday vibes. And yeah, those are some of the fun things we have coming up.
Awesome. So much to look forward to. These arrangements look beautiful. I think it would be the great addition to anyone's Thanksgiving table. So Lindsay, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live
You're
Desk.
so welcome. I'm so happy to join you.
Yes, so many tips and tricks that we just learned there from Lindsay. I am going to try my best to remind myself that I can do it too. And if you're worried about it, they're not going to let you leave with the bad centerpiece. I'm sure they would offer a helping hand if you needed it. All right, let's take another quick live look outside here in Milwaukee this afternoon, where honestly, the sky is blue, the sun is out, and it is dry. And it's now 43 degrees. So all sorts of things going for us this Wednesday. We're going to take another quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then we'll talk our coat drive. It's the FOX6 Coats for Kids telethon today, and this morning was a huge success. They're getting ready to do it all again for our afternoon newscast. But we'll look at the total, and we'll let you know how you can join in and donate as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk as we approach that 1 o'clock hour this afternoon. Kind of exciting that we're cruising along, and it's, already Wednesday, so that means that the weekend is near, at least closer than it was the last 2 days. Hey, let's take another live look outside. I did switch up our camera here. We're gonna look from our modern camera, where I'm just so happy to not see what we were looking at this time yesterday, or to see our spider friend. Do you remember that, Delaney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about
I kind of
that,
forgot.
but-
A few days ago, we had a nice spider who hung out on one of our cameras the entire Wisconsin Live Desk, which was a little too spooky and creepy for me, but I like this view much better. It might look warm. It's still pretty chilly out there. It is 43 degrees, but we know it's only going to get colder as the weeks go by, the months go by, and we really enter our Wisconsin winter, which is why we're currently in the midst of our 41st FOX6 Coats for Kids drive. And today is a super exciting day at FOX6. It is our telethon. So all morning long during Wake Up, we had an entire stage of volunteers with the phones ready to take your donations. You guys have already answered the call. We have raised $31,574. I think I just said dollars twice. That's what you get on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But our goal is $60,000, so we still got a ways to go. The phone line will reopen again at 4 p.m. We'll have a new batch of volunteers in and ready to chat with you, get those donations, or you can scan that QR code right now and make a donation as well. So as a reminder, for every $25 that you donate, we are able to buy a brand new coat for a child in need. We do that through our partnership with Operation Warm, and it's really cool. We chatted with one of their leaders earlier this week who talked about the effort that they go to make sure that these coats are not just warm, but that they're on trend, that they're the colors that kids would want. They have the designs that kids would want, because that helps them with confidence. And when you go to school confident, the statistics show that you do so much better in the classroom. So again, every $25 can buy a brand new jacket that actually retails for $61. So we're able to get a great deal by working with Operation Warm. Of course, if you're watching right now and you have some coats in your closet that you're thinking, hey, I could donate those, you absolutely can. You can donate those at Steinhoffel's, any of the 5 Milwaukee locations, at any of the Landmark Credit Union locations, as well as the Salvation Army. Just remember to drop off at a church or the distribution center, not their store locations. But again, yeah, the kind of rule of thumb there, if it's a gently loved coat, just make sure it's something that you would want your child to wear. So the zipper would work, there's no holes in the pockets, no tears or stains. We want to make sure we're giving them a very nice winter coat. You can also, of course, donate brand new winter coats, as well as brand new gloves, hats, and scarves. Because when the kids go to these distribution sites, we were actually talking with the Salvation Army earlier this morning, they truly get to go shopping. So they go to the racks, they find their size, they pick out the coat they want, and then they go get all the accessories, which you need in Wisconsin. This is not a want. It gets very, very cold. You need the gloves, you need the hat, you need the scarf. And they were talking about how fun it can be for the kids when, you know, they spot that Packers hat or the Spider-Man hat, and they get to pick the ones that really speak to what they like. So please, if you're able to donate, do that. Again, the telethon, so our phone line, will reopen again at 4 p.m. as soon as our afternoon newscasts kick off. Or if you'd like to donate right now, just scan that QR code right there on your screen. You can also just go to fox6now.com. Right away on the homepage, you will see the Fox 6 Coats for Kids logo. Click on that. It will take you to Operation Warm's website. That is where you can donate. Again, it has been so cool to see you guys really answer the call here with the amount of need we have in our community. This number has grown so much today alone to reach that more than $31,000 donated, but we still got a ways to go. We want to really get to $60,000, but really the goal we have is that every child who is in need of a coat gets a coat. So please, if you're able, donate. Again, phone lines will open again at 4 p.m. So I just mentioned the Packers. I was talking about the Packers hat, so I figured we should probably get you ready for Sunday as well. Of course, the game right here on Fox 6. Don't want to give too much away, but in just a little bit, we will be joined by Tim Van Boren, TVV, our sports director. He's at Lambeau right now, getting to chat with the coaches and the players, getting the 4-1-1 ahead of this next game. But for now, we for sure have the schedule for you. So on Sunday, you can catch Fox NFL kickoff at 10 a.m. Come 11, you've got Fox NFL Sunday. And then the game will kick off at noon. Packers are away, so we will be in Minnesota taking on the Vikings, conference rival there. And if you want to stick around, we'll also have the Eagles and Cowboys for you at 3:25, followed by Fox 6 Sports Blitz at 10:30. I feel like, I on paper, the Packers should probably take this one. You never know what the season they're having, but I know this is truly, I think, in my opinion, the big rival. I was talking about it a little earlier on the Wisconsin Live Desk, but started my career in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and all my friends were like, oh my gosh, it must be so hard to be a Bears fan living in the Packers territory. And I said, honestly, they don't even care about the Bears. They do not like the Minnesota Vikings. So I feel like this should be a really exciting game. Hopefully it's just, better than the Monday Night Football game with the Eagles. That one was kind of boring. No one scored at half. So hopefully we just have a good game on the field and that the Packers can walk away with a victory. Now, don't say I'm not nice. I always say, we can let the Packers have the win despite being a Bears fan, which I think is pretty kind of me. I think Delaney also thinks that. Don't you think I'm nice to the Wisconsinites out there?
You are.
Thank you. Brett, do you have anything you want to add? Are you cheering for Packers or Vikings?
A Packers all the way, Haley. I gotta root for the Pack.
Yeah, go Pack, go, green and gold. Our very own Brett Lemoyne is hanging out with Delaney today. We appreciate a nice little Wisconsin Live Desk cameo. He's learning the ropes back there. It's so much fun, the Wisconsin Live Desk. We know it's the place to be. Hey, I'm going to just quickly look through what we have on the feeds. Again, we're kind of waiting with this stakeout camera. This is right outside the Senate. I will say the hallway has gotten a lot more active in the last few minutes. But we're going to see if any lawmakers take to the stand. Sometimes they'll come out to provide comment or answer media questions. Of course, big day yesterday for Congress as both the House and the Senate did pass a bipartisan bill to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein files. So we'll see if we can catch any lawmakers providing comment on that. Again, that bill will now make its way to the president's desk, who now President Trump has said he will sign that. Of course, a lot of people have been calling for those files for a very long time. And so we'll have to see what digging gets done, what information is out there. The other thing I wanted to just remind you about maybe 30 minutes ago now, we did have a little bit of breaking news here in the Milwaukee area. And that is some charges have now been filed for a deadly shooting that happened last Friday. I actually think just a couple minutes ago got a criminal complaint. So I'm going to go ahead during one of the breaks and read this, and I'll let you know the latest information we can learn. But you are looking at 17-year-old Jaquan Robinson, who has now been charged with first-degree reckless homicide. This is in part of, or the charges are because of the deadly shooting we saw last Friday that actually killed an Asada High School student, Neymar Hicks. So this is some big breaking news. We have just gotten that criminal complaint, so we're going to read through that, see what new information we can learn, and of course we'll bring that to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. For now, I think we'll take another quick break so I can do my reading, and I'll let you know what we learn. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Wednesday afternoon. Time check for you now, 1:10. We're just kind of cruising along here this Wednesday afternoon. Again, I'll be with you till 2:30, and then Ted Perry will take over and get you guys to 3:30 because the Wisconsin Live Desk goes from 12:30 to 3:30 Monday through Friday as we bring you just the latest news happening locally here in Milwaukee, across the Badger State, across the country, and sometimes even across the world. So far today, we've gotten to hear from our very own Abril Preciado on her story, kind of taking a twist on the free little libraries and turning it into a free little pantry for the community in need that had so much more than just food, so many resources available there for different families. We also learned how to make a pretty nice Thanksgiving centerpiece. Of course, if you're not a DIY person, you can just go to the workshop yourself. We'll get some of that information up for you later on Fox Local. And we're continuing to cover a pretty big breaking news situation that actually started last Friday during the Wisconsin Live Desk. You might remember we brought you Chief Norman live as he addressed members of the media about a homicide that had happened, a shooting in Milwaukee of an Asada High School student. We now know charges have been filed in that shooting. This is 17-year-old Jaquan Robinson there on your screen. Moments ago, we got that criminal complaint. It is several pages long, but he is charged with first-degree reckless homicide as a party to a crime and use of a dangerous weapon. And they kind of describe in the criminal complaint the timeline of what happened here. So Neymar Hicks is the 18-year-old who was shot and killed in this incident. Neymar Hicks had an early dismissal from high school from Asada, and as he left school, as he was walking only about a block away, he was robbed. There was an attempted robbery there of a couple of individuals. Unfortunately, obviously, shots were fired. Neymar Hicks then made his way back to Asada High School for help. That is where police arrived after he had already been shot. Unfortunately, when Neymar Hicks made his way to the hospital, he was already declared dead. Jaquan Robinson now, again, is charged with that first-degree reckless homicide as party to a crime and use of a dangerous weapon. They detail some surveillance footage that they were able to get of this incident in the criminal complaint, as well as the role that Robinson did play. There are other suspects as well that they're working to find, because there was, of course, a couple of different individuals a part of this incident. But that is kind of the big news right now, is that we know this 17-year-old on your screen has been charged. He is expected to make an initial court appearance, and so we are having a crew go. We'll let you know what we learn. Perhaps if bond is given. All the latest information of what we'll bring to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But again, pretty big update here that there have now been charges filed in the deadly shooting. And again, I would expect more charges, as there are supposed to be a couple of different suspects here. But again, this is in reference to 18-year-old Neymar Hicks, the Asada High School senior who was shot and killed last Friday after leaving school for an early dismissal. So pretty big breaking news situation right there. I do want to go ahead and take another live look outside where, again, I know I've already said it, but it is just looking so much better than it did at this time yesterday. It was just such a gray, doomy, gloomy, wet day outside. I guess I shouldn't quite complain because it was at least not snowing. It was more of the rain side of that wintry mix, but not a pleasant Tuesday by any means. So I'm glad to see that Wednesday is already up to a little bit of a nicer start right there. But you know what? I'm not the weather expert in this situation. Let's bring in the person who actually is. Our very own Stephanie is joining us right now. Steph, it is looking, I mean, much better than I did it yesterday.
Oh yeah, and to even see little peaks of sunshine out there right now is a bonus. We woke up to some sunshine. That led to a really cold morning, but we also had fog in a handful of communities. Then the clouds moved in pretty quickly, but at this point in time, we're still mostly cloudy, but little peaks of sunshine here or there, of course, make all of the difference. Temperatures sadly haven't moved much, but to what Haley said, they're quite a bit warmer than yesterday. There were a lot of communities yesterday with the fact that we had all of the rain and some of the slushy snow in spots that did not even reach 40 for a high temperature. So we're doing okay right now. It certainly is a little cool, to say the very least. You'll need your jacket as you head out, but thankfully the wind is light, so we're not registering much of a wind chill either. But throughout the remainder of the afternoon, expect temperatures to stay where they're at right now. We're not expecting to climb anymore. And you can tell that the cloud cover is pretty much here to stay as well. Not just here locally, it's across pretty much the entire state, as well as the, we'll say, Great Lakes region. All the sunshine right now is far towards the west across parts of South Dakota. You can actually see, if you look very closely here across Iowa, that's some thicker cloud cover starting to make its way on in. I kind of have a couple of different layers of cloud cover on here. So the really bright whites are the thicker clouds, and some of these lighter that's actually picking up on some thinner cloud cover. To say the very least, again, the clouds are sticking around today, tonight, and even into tomorrow. There is some wintry mix up towards the north and some rain. That for now is going to stay west, or excuse me, stay west and north, I should mention. But tomorrow there is the slight chance we see just a few sprinkles, nothing even compared to what we experienced yesterday, just a sprinkle here or there. And then once we hit Friday, we'll start to see more sunshine. The upcoming weekend is looking lovely. So we really just got to get through today as well as tomorrow. And they're both still going to be pretty calm days, with the exception of that chance for a sprinkle tomorrow. But again, just the cloud cover. Temperatures chilly today. As soon as we hit tomorrow, temperatures will begin to climb. So we're going to stay in the 40s today, but then jump about 10 degrees tomorrow. So low 50s back in the forecast. That's then going to continue through the weekend. We might drop a little bit Friday behind a cold front, but otherwise there's a system Friday that's likely going to stay south of us. So we'll start to see the sun, whereas areas south of us stay cloudy still. So for the end of November, we're doing pretty well forecast-wise as we, look ahead to the weekend and we see potentially low mid 50s back in the forecast. For this time of year, that's about 10 degrees warmer than average. So we got to enjoy those days because we really are getting to the point in time where 50s are going to become few and far between. We do see a few every once in a while during the month of December, but certainly not a 4 or 5 day stretch of them like we're heading into. Now, looking ahead to Thanksgiving, I know it's still early. It's not in our 6-day planner at all, but if you're traveling this weekend, you're going to be just fine. Same with early next week if you maybe have managed to get the entire week off. It is possible we see a little bit of rain getting closer to Thanksgiving or maybe just after. But again, at this point, it looks to primarily be rain. That being said, after Thanksgiving, we could have another colder blast of air work its way in. That's all pretty long range at this point in time. So room for improvement, room for change. But for now, it's not looking too bad even into next week, Haley.
Yeah, I do agree that when you were just talking about potential for 50s this weekend, and I'm like, wait, it's nearing the end of November and we live in Wisconsin. We should probably be grateful for that because it's going to feel really nice outside.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to compare 50s to what we had last weekend.
I know.
Because last weekend it was nearly 70, and that truly was a treat. But we need to treat the 50s like that because I don't think we're going to have any warmth like we had going forward in the forecast.
Though, I will say it's been pretty cold this week, at least in the mornings when I'm leaving. Yeah. And as soon as I feel those cold temperatures, the 50s are going to probably feel like 70s to me now.
Yeah, I agree. Tomorrow, even though it's going to be a bit cloudy, the fact that we're going to be 10 degrees warmer than today, I do think it'll be noticeable. Yeah. So just take it as a win. Still wear your jacket, please. Yes. I don't want to see anybody in shorts just yet.
No, that's a little bit obsessive. Quick question for you, because I've said it before. I just got 3 winters, or at least Wisconsin winters, off. I was in South Carolina. It was a lot warmer. Now I'm coming back to Wisconsin. I'm a little bit nervous. Speaking of a long-range forecasting, what are we expecting this winter? Is it going to be a bad one or okay?
We're kind of sandwiched in between. When we look at some of the long-range forecasting and the latest data from the Climate Prediction Center, so whenever we show those, 6 to 10 day temperature trends every so often on Wake Up or during any of our newscasts, those come from the Climate Prediction Center. They do put out outlooks for 1 month from now, and of course the season. So they did come out with their projections for the upcoming winter. And I will say we're kind of in the middle of what could be still a pretty active winter and what may end up being a not so active winter, or maybe temperatures that would support more rain rather than snow. So I do think we have the chance, absolutely, to see a bit more snow this year or a bit more activity this winter than what we've had in the past. We are heading into a weak La Nina is what we call it, and there is the potential for some colder blasts of air heading into our winter months. It's hard this far out to actually pinpoint what we could see, so it truly is based off of trends and those climate patterns like the El Niños and the La Niñas. But I do think, yes, that there is the chance that we have just a bit more active of a winter compared to what we've had the past couple of years, because as any of us can tell you, Haley, we have not had much of a winter the last couple of winters. Last winter, it was still cold, but we didn't get a ton of snow. The winter before that, it was really warm, and we started getting thunderstorms in February.
Oh my gosh.
It was just wild. So number one, personally, I think we're overdue. Not that that means anything, but it's still just kind of in that middle range. It could be more active, it could not.
I know, I was going to say, I feel like I left the wrong 3 years because, I've been told the winters, hey, they weren't that bad.
But it was weird. You know, Wisconsin's one of those places where if you go all winter long without any snow, it's almost worse because you don't have the tourism. Poor northern Wisconsin really didn't get much snow, so their tourism during last winter was pretty rough.
Right.
It's just kind of like cloudy and there's nothing to do. So having snow on the ground, I promise you, is a plus. We want it.
No, that's a good point. Also, my dog Zobrist loves snow, so like he will look forward to it. So hopefully we get a little bit of the white stuff.
Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously, that's on everybody's mind as we are nearing Thanksgiving and the holidays. I personally am team snow, so we will see. I don't like to drive in it though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I'm team snow until January 2nd.
Agreed.
You know, I want it for the holidays and then it can go away.
Maybe Valentine's Day. I'm fine with pushing it to Valentine's Day.
All right, well, that makes one of us. No, I'm just kidding. All right, thanks, Steph, for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Always nice to get a little bit of a maybe indicator of what the winter season will bring. Of course, that can always change because that is definitely still far out. Hey, while I was chatting with Steph, I did notice something pop up here on the feeds. Of course, this is Melania Trump, our First Lady, continuing her visit in North Carolina. When we started Wisconsin Live Desk, we were at a high school. Now we are at an elementary school. This is Delalia Elementary School. She's visiting here in the classroom with some of the cutest kids. That little boy that just walked by and smiled was so incredibly precious. I believe she's going to participate in some arts and crafts at some point as well during this stop at the elementary school. But her and the second lady as well, visiting North Carolina right now and really chatting with members of the military as well as their families and thanking them for their service. I could watch that little boy all day long. That is so cute. But of course, she's taking a little bit of time out of her day to thank them. It is, of course, the kind of the season of gratitude as we near Thanksgiving next Thursday. So we can see her there chatting with the kiddos. I don't think she's mic'd up, so I don't think there's going to be any audio to this feed, but let's just see.
Oh my God, she ran away, I'm sorry.
You can just hear all the cute little kind of giggles there from the different students. Again, this is Delalia Elementary out of North Carolina. Later on in this visit, she is expected to speak at Camp Lejeune for members of the military as well as their families. So if that happens, when that happens, we'll bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. The other feed that we continue to monitor is this stakeout cam. Again, this is the Senate kind of hallway there. Very active right now, but we're not seeing any lawmakers step up to that podium to provide comments. I would expect that if anyone does, they might address those Epstein files. They just passed a bipartisan bill yesterday, both in the House and the Senate, to release all of the files in its entirety. So we'll see if we can catch any lawmakers if they do step up to that podium. We always like to bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk and cover kind of both sides of that bill. Again, it was bipartisan support yesterday. We saw nearly all of the Republicans in the House vote to pass it except for one, and we saw all of the Democrats in the House vote to pass it as well. I will say we listened to a little bit of the floor discussion prior to that vote being held, and it was a lot of the blame game is what I like to call it here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. You know, a lot of Democrats calling out Republicans for why it was taking this long, Republicans doing the same thing to Democrats, but despite kind of those comments and that conversation, it did pass with bipartisan support and will make its way to the president's desk next. And again, President Trump has said that he will sign that. So we should be getting those Epstein files at some point soon. I just saw Melania, again, our First Lady here, now doing some of those arts and crafts with the kiddos, which I love that hair bow. I love the sweater. I kind of just miss being in elementary school where this was your assignment. Isn't that kind of nice, Delaney, where you were just doing arts and crafts?
I know, I kind of missed that. It was
Yeah,
fun.
especially, before Thanksgiving. I wonder if there's some theme. Maybe they're like coloring in a turkey right now.
Oh yeah, they're probably doing some themed crafts.
Maybe they did the turkey hand art crafts.
That's always a good one.
Yes, I always, that's like one of the few that I felt like I could do. I'm not a DIY type of person. Oh, now you're getting that behind the scenes kind of view of their visit as well here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Of course, these cameras are live. We're watching it in real time, so they're moving kind of where they were. My guess is they're going to go to the next part of the visit. Perhaps the First Lady is done in the classroom that she was in. So we'll keep our eye there on that feed. But it is beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Soon it will begin to look a lot like Christmas. If Carl Daffenbaugh is listening, apologies. I know he doesn't think we should discuss Christmas until after Thanksgiving, but I believe that Thanksgiving is a holiday within the Christmas season. So my Christmas tree is already up. I love Christmas, and I love going to holiday markets. Pretty soon you're going to be able to do that in the Deer District. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, but we're going to get a little sneak peek of what we can expect at the Deer District Holiday Market. So you're going to want to stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk, where we are approaching 1:30, which is crazy. The first hour of the Live Desk really flew by. We've had a lot of different news to bring you, both here in Wisconsin as well as over in D.C. and even North Carolina, where the First and Second Lady are currently visiting with members of the military and their families. We talked Thanksgiving already, so now I think we turn our eyes to the Christmas season, one of my absolute favorites. And one thing that I love about the holiday season, that's hard to just name one thing, but I love Christmas lights and I love shopping. And why not kind of combine the opportunity to see that with a really big tree? Of course, we're talking about the Deer District's holiday market. We're going to bring in Marla here. She's joining us. Thanks so much for being here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
Yes. Okay, so I'm so excited for Friday. Really, it all kicks off. What can we expect?
Yes, so Friday is a big day for us. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas here in Deer District. So we've got the City of Milwaukee Christmas tree over my shoulder here. It's ready to be lit up. It's got all of its trimmings. So Friday from 5 to 7, all of the City of Milwaukee can come down here. We're going to have the ceremonial tree lighting. We've got free parking here in Deer District, so we'll make it easy for everybody. Come on down. You'll hear caroling. We've got Santa. We've got reindeer. So everything you're going to want to kick off your holiday season. And then immediately after the tree is lit, we're going to invite everybody to join us in the Deer District Beer Garden area, where we'll have the first Deer District holiday market full of vendors, entertainers, photo ops, and yummy food from all of the awesome businesses right here on the Deer District Plaza.
I love this. I also don't want to bury the lead there. Free parking is huge because sometimes that is my deterrent. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to go find parking. So no, you guys have that. You're providing it. Just come out and see that Christmas tree get all sort of colorful and lit up for the season, which I'm curious because we watched that get cut down live during our morning newscast. We've actually we've got to chat with the couple who donated it. How much work though goes from seeing the tree cut down to, I mean, I can already see a star on top and some of the baubles from even just this view.
Yeah, it's fun to watch actually. So I am the owner of the New Fashion, which is one of the restaurants and bowling alley. We have bowling here as well here at Deer District. And you can see all the big windows behind me. So it's always kind of an annual tradition for me and my employees. We kind of get to watch out the window and watch them.
Yeah.
They bring the tree in on a flatbed and then they kind of crane it up, and then they bring out tons and tons of boxes. You can imagine your own holiday Christmas tree trimming times like 100, and they unpack all the ornaments and then they hang it on the tree, and they get it done in about 2 days. So it goes fast, but it requires a lot of manpower.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love seeing that Christmas tree right there. And of course, the other big part of the holiday market, you mentioned it, the vendors going shopping. Do you kind of have the inside scoop of who might be there?
I do. We've got lots of great vendors for you, all kinds of holiday gift options. I know that Milwaukee Pretzel Company is going to be here selling their great gift options. So that's going to be a yummy treat. There's also going to be candle makers. There's going to be ceramics, ornaments, fun items for pets, like everything that you want from a holiday market, we're going to have. And we've done a really good job curating the vendors. So very high-end stuff. Ready to be gifted. So you can get all of your holiday shopping done just one swoop here. So I think it's going to be a really nice market. The weather is looking good. And like I said, you can always get a little shopping done outside. I'm peeking because I can see the vendors setting up right outside. And then you can come into one of the businesses, grab a bite to eat. I just got to sample our own cranberry brie bratwurst for lunch. It was so good. It was so delicious. So I hope that everyone comes and tries that out and just gets in the holiday season with us.
Yeah, Marla, I don't know about you, but also when I shop local, I just feel better about where my money is going, knowing that I'm, making a difference in somebody even here in the community and what they're doing. I saw that there's gourmet dog treats, which I'm also loving that as a dog owner. What a good shop there. But really, you might want to go more than once too, because there's an entertainment schedule that's always changing, right?
The entertainment schedule is awesome. I am very excited for all of the entertainers. And just like you said, all the vendors are local, all the entertainers are local. We were very mindful about how we curated this market. And it really is homegrown Milwaukee. So while it has inspiration from a traditional German Christmas market, we put a modern Milwaukee twist on it. So like you said, the entertainment, we've got First Stage, we've got Milwaukee Opera Theater, we've got Glencastle Irish Dancers. Of course, the big man Santa is going to be here, the reindeer are going to be here. And I know that on our family day, Black Friday, we're even going to have Pantaloon Productions is bringing their Christmas tree stilt walker. So keep an eye out for that. It might sneak up on you while you're here at the market. But I agree with you. You're definitely going to come more than once so that you don't miss all of these special, exciting things to see while you're here.
Yeah, I was going to say, the big man himself is going to be there, and you can go get your holiday photos with him here at the Deer District Holiday Market. You open, I know, Friday. It's open kind of daily until November 30th. With the exception of Thanksgiving, the market will be closed there. Enjoy time with your family.
Exactly.
Talk to me a little bit, I'm sure, about just the community in itself in Deer District.
So the Deer District community is all essentially like things that you can do when you want to come to Fiserv Forum. That's kind of what it was built around. So the New Fashion, for example, 25,000 square feet. We have 2 floors. You can eat, drink, you can bowl, you can do dart ball, you can paint. So it's family-friendly activities that you can do before or after a game or concert, or just come down on the weekend and hang out and have fun. Tom's Watch Bar just opened about 3 weeks ago, and that's a great place to watch sports and hang out and cheer on your favorite teams. We've also got Explorium Brew Pub just next to Tom's Watch Bar, also a local brand, and great beer, great food. Really nice couple owns that place. So really great Milwaukee local flavor there. And then, of course, the Trade Hotel is one of the best hotels in Milwaukee. They're going to have a special holiday menu as well during the market. So highly recommend going to Craft one night, checking that out for dinner as well. So, I mean, the community here is really special. The market is put on by the Deer District Bid 53, which supports all of the businesses in the area. And the goal is just for people to come and get to know these businesses better, raise awareness of the area, and get to know that obviously we're open whenever Fiserv is here for something fun to do, but it's also a great place to come and bring your family, bring your out-of-town guests and visit, even when Fiserv maybe doesn't have something huge going on. So we're excited to help spread that word during this market.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, when I have my friends come and visit, I'm always trying to sell them on Milwaukee. You know, I got to let them know that I live somewhere really cool. I'm always taking them to Deer District, even if we're not going to Fiserv, because there is just so much to see and to do there in the Deer District. It's done so well. How many years now have y'all been doing the holiday market?
This is the first year of the holiday market.
Oh, how exciting.
I know. We're so excited. So the tree lighting has been going on here for a number of years, but it's always just been isolated to one evening. And so the bid had this thought that, like, is there a way we can elevate that experience, keep people down here, make sure they get the opportunity, like you said, to park once, and then explore everything that Deer District has to offer. And so that's how the idea for the holiday market started. And then we thought, is there a way that we can extend that through the holiday season even longer and really, you know, give people that true holiday spirit? And we dug in. We've been working on this for about a year, and we contracted with Events by Design, another great Milwaukee company, and have put this together. A lot of hard work, a lot of creativity, but I think it's coming together really great. You can see everything on the Deer District website. So it's deerdistrict.com/market. And it talks about all of the vendors that you and I have talked about. It talks about the whole entertainment schedule and just everything that you can experience when you come down here with the family. So I highly recommend coming to the tree lighting on Friday, checking it out, and then you'll see everything that you can experience and hopefully make it, you know, just a fun thing that you can do after work, come back again on a Saturday or Sunday and get to do all your holiday shopping and get in that holiday Christmas spirit and maybe put up the tree and come back again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm also just a sucker for a good, like, themed cocktail, and you can't try them all in one night, so you have to go back a couple of times. Marla, I'm also on the website.
You could, but you might not want to try them all in one night.
That is sound advice. I'm on the website right now, and I just saw the holiday bingo mug. This is so cute. I have to grab that.
It's so cute. It's a collectible. You definitely want to grab it. So you can buy the Bango mug at the Info Chalet or at any of the businesses in the area. So New Fashion will be selling it. And if you buy it at New Fashion, you can also get a fun cocktail in it and then discounts on your refills. So again, it's kind of a twist on that German Christmas market souvenir mug. Mm-hmm. And then the idea is that you get a fun drink, you get to drink it in the mug, take it with you as you're walking around and shopping, and then take it home with you when you're done. So I think that, you know, if the market is successful, hopefully we get lots of people to come down and enjoy it, then we'll be doing it again next year. expand it, grow it, and always have these different mugs that you can keep as souvenirs and show,
Yeah.
that you've come back year after year.
That is so exciting. I think this is going to become a new family tradition, holiday tradition. I think it's going to be a success. And of course, you want the first mug to say you were there from the beginning. So we got to get it this year.
You got it. You got it. And I should also mention that there are also fun activities. So there's going to be curling outside
nice.
on the plaza. Like I said, you can get the cranberry brie brought from one of our huts outside. Grab that as you're walking around. And we're going to have Glühwein, traditional mulled wine. It's really good. I also sampled that at lunch. So all different fun kinds of, just like you said, holiday traditions, things that you're going to want during that holiday season as the weather gets cooler. Hot chocolate for the kids, of course. That's going to be free on Friday during the tree lighting.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're really trying to pull out all the stops and make sure that Milwaukee has a great experience during the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. I feel like I should just pull out my phone for the calendar to let myself know that I have Friday night plans, because I got to go. This sounds amazing.
Yep. You're ready. You're locked in.
I'm locked in. Marla, thank you so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks for having me. A pleasure talking to you.
Yes, so much fun. The Deer District's first ever holiday market. Again, go to the first day. It opens Friday. You can see the tree lighting. You can go get a drink, a bite, do some shopping. It will be there every single day until November 30th, with the exception of it will be closed on Thanksgiving, but then it'll open right back up. Such a fun thing to do with, your family, your significant other, your girlfriends. I'm going to go a couple of times because it just sounds like such a blast. All right. We're going to take another break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and when we come back, it's time to talk football, all things Green Bay Packers. You're going to want to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Tim, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, he can hear us, Delaney. All right, cool. We're
Thumbs up.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk this Wednesday afternoon. Time check for you. It is now 1:43 and it is 43 degrees outside. That's kind of fun how that correlates. We have to take a live look right here at Lambeau. Of course, Green Bay Packers did get the victory on Sunday. Now we look ahead to their next matchup on Sunday, which means we should probably bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Van Voren. Tim, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
How can I answer to that lead in, Haley? It's a pleasure to be with you.
It's always a pleasure to have you here on the live desk as we get ready for the next week. But I want to actually start by going back to, I was going to say New York, but technically it's New Jersey. What were your thoughts on this game? Because it wasn't pretty, but it was a win.
A win is what the Packers were desperately in need of, Haley. You've described it accurately. Earlier this season, the Packers were off to a good start, and they were rolling along, and a lot of us were talking about, oh, they need some more style points. That stuff's out the window after you lose a couple of games the way they did to Carolina and Philadelphia. You just need more points than the Giants. That's what the Packers got. They got a victory. They weren't apologizing for it. They know that it wasn't a thing of beauty, as you say, but it was a W. And as you get to this stage of the season, the actual record matters more so than anything else you're doing. The Packers will take it. They're back at work this week for the Minnesota Vikings coming up on Sunday, and a crucial kind of finish stretch here to the season over the next 7 weeks.
I say, yeah, next 3 games in the division, taking on the Vikings next. But sticking with the game Sunday, I feel like it's always nerve-wracking when you watch your starting quarterback leave in the first quarter. What were your thoughts when that unfolded and eventually Jordan Love did return to the game?
Yeah, kind of a two-pronged thought there. Obviously, great concern for Jordan Love and the Packers offense, and the rest of the season, really. You see some of these teams who lose a quarterback. You would know Joe Burrow goes out, and a team – just what can they do to kind of put it all back together? So it's critical when that happens. And was Jordan Love going to be out for any length of time? He runs into the locker room. That's concerning for everyone. While he's in there, Malik Willis plays 7 snaps and does quite well. He had a nice run, a big gainer on a run. That's one of his real strengths. And then he threw a touchdown pass. And so he did his job. Then Love comes back into the game, and he did his job with a great second-half performance. I used the term great. The numbers won't say that. The offense didn't look like it was clicking along against, say, Pittsburgh earlier in the season or something. But given the conditions, given the stakes, given the injuries he was dealing with, I thought it was a very strong second-half performance for Jordan Love, particularly coming off that injury he suffered in the first half.
Of course, TBV just reminding all of us that I lost my starting quarterback for fantasy, Joe Burrow, but that's what happens with injuries. And I know injuries, running back, Josh Jacobs, how are things looking for next game?
Not practicing today. Matt LaFleur telling us it's truly going to be a day-to-day situation. Just a matter of waiting to see if he can be back out there. Emmanuel Wilson is the backup running back. The Packers have a lot of confidence in him. But, of course, Josh Jacobs is one of the, the premier players at his position in the NFL. So, excuse me, they'd like to get him back, Haley. But right now, not practicing today. And it's going to be a situation that's kind of monitored throughout the week.
Okay, so if you had a crystal ball and you were looking ahead to Sunday, how do you think things are going to go against the Vikings here?
Well, I've pontificated at earlier times this season, been way off, Haley. They're going to beat Cleveland. They're going to beat Carolina. They might have a tough time with the Lions. What do I know? But I'll give you a stab. I think the Packers are able to make it 2 wins in a row. They never should have had 2 losses in a row to Carolina and Philadelphia, but I think they get to 2 wins in a row here. This is a big game. The Vikings have been very up and down. Better on the road than at home this season, but their quarterback, the J.J. McCarthy, I call him a rookie because it's his first season of playing, even though last year was technically a rookie. He missed the whole year because of injury. So, kind of the first go-through for J.J. McCarthy. He's been very uneven. The Vikings have had only 1 win since early October. So I would think the Packers at home should have some sense of urgency, understanding where they are in the playoff chase and what has happened to them. This should be a game that the Packers would win. I would put them down for winning a game, but it's always an effort. Haley, they never win easy. They're always in 1-score games, so probably another close game with the Vikings.
Definitely a big rivalry there. I'm curious your thoughts on this. I'm from Chicago. I'm a Bears fan. I think that's about 3 weeks out of looking at the schedule. The people in Chicago really think it's, Bears, Packers is the rivalry. But when I moved to Wisconsin, I felt like I really discovered it was more Packers-Vikings. What are your thoughts? What's the bigger rivalry?
Well, 15, 20 years ago and before that, the Bears, for sure. The Bears were a very significant team in the NFL in those years, and going back with the history the Packers and the Bears enjoy back to the earliest stages of the NFL. So that would be the number one rivalry. I think things did shift, Haley, over the last decade, 15 years or so, because the Bears' fortunes were down and the Packers were beating them so regularly. The Vikings were the other real contender in the NFC Central Division, which became the NFC North Division. So that's where your rival really developed. between the Packers and Vikings. And then for a while, the Vikings would sign so many former Packer players, which just added spice to things. They've really made a break from that and have kind of gone their own way over there recently. So I would definitely say long-standing, the Bears is the rivalry. So depending on what vintage of fan you're talking to, it might be Chicago. Over the last 15 years or so, Minnesota has swung into that category.
Yeah, absolutely. Regardless, the green and gold want to get the victory on Sunday. Looking ahead, playoffs. Do we have a chance? Do the Packers make a deep run? What do you think?
They have a chance, Haley. They have to play better football, but they're not alone. You know, the Lions thought they were putting it all together, that they lost the other day. I have a little prop for you. Haley. I don't know. Can you see this? Vehicle cross traffic caution. I think that's what the Packers are facing right now. Everybody going like this in the NFL. Lots of cross traffic right now in the NFL. And this next stretch is going to determine who comes out in good position going into the playoffs in terms of home field and seeding and that sort of thing. And then as long as you're in the quote-unquote tournament, anything could happen. So I don't think the Packers are playing great right now. I don't think they're hitting on all cylinders. I'm not sure how many cylinders they have left to hit on, but they think they can get themselves into the tournament, and then it's a matter of whatever happens then.
Well, Tim Van Vorn bringing out all the stops here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, even a prop today. We appreciate you joining us again and getting us all ready for NFL Sunday, where can they catch the game, TVV?
You got it. Noon on Sunday, Packers and Vikings starts a big day of football on Fox 6. So always exciting, and a traditional noon kickoff, Haley. You throw back to the rivalry days of the Bears and the Packers, even the Vikings. Noon kickoff on a Sunday. Oh, you can't beat that.
Can't beat that. We will all be tuning in. Thanks so much, TVV.
See you. Have a great day.
You too. Always great to chat Packers and football with him. I didn't tell him. Maybe he's still listening. TVV, I won in fantasy this week. Oh, he's happy. Yes, he's giving me a thumbs up. That's 4 weeks in a row, you guys. I really feel like we have a shot of potentially winning fantasy football this year. I did get a little frustrated with Caleb Williams. I did start him yet again. He's my Bears quarterback. I do have Brock Purdy, who is back and he's playing, so I'm going to start him now on Sunday because Caleb Williams didn't do great point-wise. But the Bears also got the win there. Of course, that should be a good game here coming up in just a few weeks, but for now, it's Packers and Vikings, noon kickoff on Sunday, right here on Fox 6. Not going to want to miss it. We're going to take another quick break right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then when we come back, we've got some more news to bring to you. Stay tuned.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Wednesday afternoon as we kind of approach that 2 o'clock hour. I hope you were around when Tim Van Voren just joined us live from Lambeau, got all of the inside scoop that we need ahead of Sunday's game. And since then, the feeds have actually gotten very active. I know I was talking about this camera that is set up outside the Senate floor, as now you can see some Democratic senators have taken to the podium, providing their thoughts on the Epstein files. So we're going to go ahead and listen into this together and see what we can learn.
Danielle Bensky, 17 years old, when Epstein sexually abused her. Her mom had a brain tumor, and he told her that he could help her mom, but only if she abided by his demands, including recruiting other girls. He told her, I can use it to help you, or I can make it really difficult for your mother. As she said recently, it's a call to action. We're standing up for so many victims of sexual assault. As a former prosecutor, I can tell you that's what this is about. It is also about trust. When Donald Trump and the Republicans promised the American people time and time again, whether it was about bringing down costs, not true. Whether it was about making changes that help people, not true. But whether it was about releasing these Epstein files, now we'll find out the truth. Donald Trump knew that there was overwhelming numbers of votes coming in against him, and at that moment, he made the decision that he would say that he wanted the vote to go through. At that moment, when Senator Schumer made the decision to come forward, there was no one who would stand up and say, nope, we shouldn't have them released. And I thank Senator Schumer for doing this. The House discharge petition materialized because there were the votes to override his veto. So now is the moment of truth. One, he has to sign it, but two, and most importantly, when we look at what the Attorney General of the United States, who is running a Justice Department that literally when Donald Trump orders them by Truth Social or in person to do something, they do it. Drop charges, they'll do it. Pardon their friends, they'll do it. It is literally a snap of their fingers. Make sure that you charge a Federal Reserve governor or the Attorney General of the state of New York or the former FBI director, we're there, we'll do it. That's what's been going on. So right now, we're facing a moment. Because of these faux investigations that she is now claiming are reopening, now we're going to find out, are they really going to release the files or not? And we are ready to stand up for victims like Danielle and so many others in this country.
The Epstein files have always been about full accountability for the perpetrators and justice for the victims. And Donald Trump, when he campaigned, he said, I'm going to release these files. It became increasingly clear that that wasn't going to be the case. So in July, 25 Democrats introduced the Epstein files bill. Not one Republican would co-sponsor it. 4 months ago, then 2 months ago, Leader Schumer introduced that bill as an amendment on the Defense Authorization Act. And 51 Republicans tabled it. And every Democrat said no.
All right, if you are just joining us, we've been listening in here as some Senate Democrats are speaking to members of the media after, of course, both the House and the Senate did pass a bipartisan bill yesterday to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Amy Klobuchar there from Minnesota questioning if that's going to happen, saying she wants it to happen. Of course, President Trump has said that when the bill comes to his desk, he will sign it and he will release the files. So still a big topic out of D.C. today that we are continuing to monitor. Another big topic that we've been talking about a lot, especially after we saw the longest government shutdown in the nation's history, was how that really impacted air traffic. You know, we saw a lot of flight delays and cancellations, and then the FAA demanding that 40 major U.S. airports actually cut down on their traffic. So right now happening, I'm going to take us out to it. This is a Senate subcommittee that's all about flying on empty, how shutdowns threaten air safety, travel, and the economy. So let's listen in together here and see what we can learn from this subcommittee.
Certification activities. Nevertheless, the shutdown significantly disrupted important activities of the FAA, including areas that this Congress prioritized during the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2024, such as FAA workforce growth and development, FAA certification activities, and the support of U.S. technologies and innovation. The most important impact of the 2025 government shutdown on manufacturers is that they saw no new certification projects or other applications were allowed to start. Even with the shutdown's end now, the FAA will be unable to act upon all those new applications immediately, which will likely take months before they can get at them. The FAA certification and safety workforce, recruiting, skills enhancement, and training initiatives were also severely impacted by the shutdown. We are very concerned about approximately 600 engineers, pilots, inspectors, and technical specialists that AVS was actively hiring when the shutdown began on October 1st. These candidates were left in limbo and may now decide not to pursue federal employment. The shutdown also resulted in missed opportunities to advance U.S. leadership in global international aviation forums that support U.S. aviation standards and technology. It also delayed critical safety oversight functions like flight testing, and those will require months to reschedule. Another area of continued impact is rulemaking, again, including many directed by the 2024 Reauthorization Act in areas like aviation safety, cybersecurity, certification modernization, and drone detect and avoid technology. These issues underscore the importance of Congress acting quickly now to pass the fiscal year 2026 Transportation, Housing, Urban Development Appropriations Bill. Passage will provide the needed stability to an agency and allow for key investments in the workforce, modernization, and aviation safety. We strongly support Senator Moran's Aviation Funding Stability Act to avoid effects of future shutdowns, as well as the legislation introduced by the House Transportation and Infrastructure Chair Graves and Ranking Member Larson and others to address these issues. We appreciate these initiatives and will stand ready to work with everyone to find the best path forward. In wake of the accident at DCA, the aviation industry came together to form the Modern Skies Coalition to focus on air traffic modernization and staffing issues. The shutdown was counterproductive to these modernization and staffing efforts. Like the aviation safety and regulatory issues I discussed earlier, we must all work to regain that momentum on these modernization priorities. It is a national imperative. GAMA appreciates the opportunity to share the manufacturers industry's perspectives today, and I look forward to working with members of this subcommittee on efforts to improve the strength and operation of the FAA. Thank you. And I look
All right, if you're just joining us, we've been listening in here on this Senate subcommittee again that is really kind of just talking about how the government shutdown affected air safety, travel, and the economy. Obviously, it was the longest government shutdown in our nation's history. We certainly saw it affect TSA agents who called out. Air traffic controllers started calling out, which led to a lot of delays on the runway. And of course, flight cancellations, all of those types of things keep people from traveling, which eventually would have an impact on your economy as well. Something we're waiting to begin here on the Wisconsin Live Desk that we'll try to bring you if we can catch it, is this live event from NASA. This is so, I feel like I just said NASA, kind of funny. This is really cool though. They're gonna have some new images from Comet 3I, or Atlas, which is currently a comet that is actually passing through our solar system right now. So that was scheduled to begin at 2. As you can see, it hasn't started yet, but we should be able to see some new images and also kind of the trajectory, the flight path that this comet is supposed to take. So if that starts when we're not doing anything else here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, we'll certainly bring it to you live. Otherwise, we are waiting to hear from one of our reporters. So we are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then Christina Van Zelst will be joining us in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Wednesday afternoon. We were just talking about kind of how the government shutdown impacted air travel. So let's take a live look here at Mitchell International Airport in Milwaukee, where I swear the sun looks like it's already setting. I don't think it actually is, but that is so sad. When it's 2 p.m., daylight saving, I'm one of those people that says we can just get rid of it because it's always sad when it's like pitch black out by 4:30. But much better day if you're flying today than it was yesterday. I prefer to fly when there's no, rain falling out of the sky, even though it's still perfectly safe. I'm just not the best flyer, so I prefer a day like today. Somewhere that I will never venture to, but NASA does often. Space. If you're just joining us, we are waiting for this live event from NASA to start soon. It's actually kind of cool. So 3I Atlas is an interstellar object that is believed to be a comet, and it actually just recently passed its closest point to the sun. So we're supposed to get some new images of this interstellar object soon. But scientists from around the entire world are currently observing its months-long journey as an effort to learn more about the chemistry of objects that are from elsewhere in the galaxy. So yeah, this is a live event. It was scheduled to start at 2. We're obviously running a little bit behind, but NASA is expected to provide not just new images, but new details on this interstellar object. I know this has really piqued a lot of curiosity for space enthusiasts. I'm curious, is it a comet? Is it something else? But, here's some more information about it. The object known as 3I Atlas was discovered this summer after it entered our solar system from elsewhere in the galaxy. It got its name because it is the third interstellar object known to have visited our solar system, and because Atlas was the telescope in Chile that discovered the object. Wait, this is so cool, Delaney. Oh, I just dropped my entire IFB. Delaney, this is so cool that it entered from somewhere else in the galaxy.
I know, right?
Yes. Okay, I am now hoping this live event starts while I'm here on the Wisconsin Live Desk because that is seeming so interesting.
I know, this will be a fun event, I think.
I think it will too. All right, well, while we wait for that to start, Delaney, should we do question of the day?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Happy International Journalist Day, Delaney.
I know, happy International Journalist Day.
Yeah, we always look up what day it is, and this one really surprised me.
I know, it did to me too.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to have something like that.
A day for us. They said this one's for you. Do you have a favorite memory? Delaney's like gonna kill me. I think she's trying to talk to Christina while I'm also talking to her on air. Do you have a favorite memory as a journalist in your career so far?
Oh, that's a good one. I think I have to think about that. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I got to interview Big Time Rush. So that was pretty cool.
Where'd you do that?
They came to Greenville, to the neighboring city, so I got to interview them, which was really cool. I did grow up a directioner, not a rusher, but it was still like, okay, that's fun.
Yeah,
so
that's super fun.
I'm thinking that, but I also got to go to the Braves home opener and be on the field with blooper and players and all of that, so that was cool. I interviewed the vice president twice, one-on-one. That was cool.
It's so hard to pick.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. There's also just days, I covered Hurricane Helene, which became a very deadly storm for the upstate and for Western North Carolina. That just reminds you why you actually do this job when people are scared and they are nervous and they do need answers, and you're the one out in the field who can give them that. It's always a good reminder.
It is.
Yeah. Did you prepare a true or false for us?
I do have true or false.
Okay, should we go to it?
We can do that quick. It does look like Christina is ready.
Okay, perfect.
Soon.
Christina, we're going to do a quick true or false, and then we're going to get to her. She's waving. She's ready. So we're going to do this true or false really fast. Okay, true or false. America's oldest continuously published newspaper is in Connecticut. Wow. Okay, so Connecticut was one of the 13 colonies that became states. So let's go with true.
This one is true. It was founded in Hartford, Connecticut in 1764.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Is Hartford where Yale is?
I'll look into that.
Delaney goes, don't ask questions that I do not know the answer to. When I think of Hartford, I honestly think of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever watched Gilmore Girls?
I have. Not in a while. Maybe a good rewatch.
Yeah, it's a good show in the fall. Rory Goes to Yale. Delaney's going to look into that while I go ahead and bring in our very own Christina Van Zelst, who is currently standing outside of a chicken coop. And this is, let's see, Pleasant Prairie, because there's a family who does not want their chickens taken away, but potentially they might lose them. Christina, tell us more.
I'm laughing because Courtney is yelling, quiet on the set. We're on 3.5 acres. We can't hear anything. But yes, you are right. We're in Pleasant Prairie, and we talked with Courtney and Randy. They're the couple who reached out to us about this story. Got to show you their chickens. There are 15 of them here. The white and black ones are the Sanderson sisters. Some of them have names, not all of them do. But they're so cute. So the reason we're here is the family says that here in Pleasant Prairie, there are rules for having chickens in your backyard. And you can have up to 4 chickens per every acre. They did say, so they're on 3.5 acres. They have a little more than they should. However, it hasn't been a problem until this point. They have what they called a chicken trial tonight. This is what they're calling it. It's a municipal hearing where somebody reported the chickens in the backyard, and they're going to have to go in front of a judge and see what the outcome of this will be. But the reason they reached out to us is because there's a bill, Assembly Bill 42, which was introduced back in March, and the goal of that bill, it has not passed, but it talked about having chickens being allowed statewide, because right now kind of the challenge is you have different municipalities, different villages, all with their different rules. It can be confusing. If you go, we're in Kenosha County now, but if you go a mile down the road, there's different rules. Anybody can have chickens, but here in Pleasant Prairie, it's 4 every acre. So it's confusing, and that bill would kind of protect families like this one and wash all of that away if it did pass. And that's kind of what prompted them to reach out to us. They have a trial in municipal court tonight at 6:45. Not everybody is for having chickens in a yard. There are some villages and towns that do not allow roosters because they can be noisy. But it just brings up that topic again of what should people in Wisconsin be allowed to do. And again, here's a family that, has had chickens here for 5 years and hasn't had an issue, got reported, and then they'll have their trial tonight. So they just wanted to bring awareness to this situation and bring awareness back to that bill that is currently still being looked at. One of the lawmakers told us that there has not been enough support on the Senate floor for it to pass at this point. So we'll see what happens, but that's why we're here, and it's always fun when we can show you some live animals on Wild.
Yes, we're wild here, so we need the wild animals. Christina, I'm curious, obviously the family is fighting this. They're not just giving up on their chickens. So why is it so important for them to have this coop in their backyard?
Yeah, they said the benefits of having chickens is really what matters to them. They have 5 kids. They give the eggs away to people who like fresh farmed eggs. A lot of the chickens, can be therapeutic. Just something that really has brought joy to their family and has been wonderful for them to have here. And they don't want to lose that. And they want other people to be able to experience something like this as well. And kind of mentioned that just the fact of having chickens is almost underrated with the benefits it's brought their family. So that is why this is important to them. These are their babies, if you will, too. They did have more. There was about 25, but they got rid of them, gave them to a friend, just in light of all of this. And they did say if this doesn't go their way, they do have a friend that they can give the chickens to who will take care of them. But that's, of course, not what they're hoping for tonight.
Good to know, though, the chickens at least have a safe place to go if this doesn't go the family's way. I'm curious, since they've had the chickens for 5 years, how did they learn about this, report that had been filed and that they would need to now go in front of a judge?
A neighbor is who reported this, so that is where this all stemmed from. We are going to try to talk to that neighbor after this to see why now. But that is how this came about, as a neighbor reported it. And they are maybe just a couple chickens over the technical rule here in Pleasant Prairie. And they know that. but I think it's just overall raising the awareness of that bill that is currently on the floor and trying to see if there's anything they can do. I mean, they do support the regulations. If they had to get a permit, they're for all of that. So it's just kind of that big topic of, you know, everywhere in Wisconsin is different depending on where you live and the rules when it comes to chickens in your backyard. Also, Haley, I think you'll like this. There are some bunnies. This is totally unrelated, but since Justin has the camera kind of that way, there are a bunch of bunnies next to the chickens, and they just had bunnies that are a day old, and we just got a peek in there. So cute.
Wait, we love an off topic, first of all, on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So we love taking a look at these itty bitty bunnies. Suddenly, Christina, I'm very jealous.
And also, Courtney's gonna come show us the bunnies because we have to.
Oh, this is becoming one of my favorite days on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Wait, I need to see the itty bitty bunnies. They're a day old, you said?
A day old. Look at them.
Oh my gosh, they're so small.
They're so little.
That is so precious. How cool to see them at just a day old, Christina. I don't know why I'm whispering like they can hear me, but I felt like I should be quiet to them.
I know. I'm like, I'm tiptoeing away. Sorry, that was totally unrelated, but I know we're on Wild, and how can you not? I've never seen a bunny that little.
No, we love off topics on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We needed to see those bunnies. Speaking of off topics, Christina, because I just saw the family was right there. You mentioned that some of these chickens don't have names. Can you see if they will name two of the chickens, Christina and Haley?
So Haley, our anchor, is asking if you guys will name two of the chickens, Haley and Christina.
Oh, absolutely. About the two little ones.
Ooh.
Right there. They're two tiny bandos.
Look, Haley. Those can be us right there, the little ones.
Oh my gosh, we get to be the
That's
itty
you and
bitty
me, girl.
ones?
The pumpkin.
They're eating pumpkins?
Yes. Well, oh, they just ran away. The other one that looks like that little brown one.
Oh, yay. Now I have a chicken
That can be
named
you
after
right there.
me.
That's Haley.
Haley and Christina.
Courtney said she approves.
Okay, this is great news. I love that I now have a chicken named after me. Also, Christina, you're so close to these animals. They seem very calm. Is that what they're giving? Is that the case here? They seem, yeah, like I'm not a chicken expert, but they seem very nice and kind of quiet there.
Yeah, no, they're really quiet. They were, I don't know what the word is for it. Cooing? Crowing, thank you, when we got here, but I think now they're used to the camera and they're showing off a little bit.
Very cool. All right, Christina,
They're
when
quiet.
can we catch your full story later today on Fox Local?
Yeah, so we're going to be covering this 4, 5, and 6, and then their hearing in front of a judge will be at 6:45 tonight. So I believe as the plan is for right now to have a crew on that as well, just to see what happens. And again, you know, there is two sides of this story. Not everybody is for this,
right.
But the whole purpose of them reaching out to us is just to raise awareness about that bill and the benefits they've heard. We are going to try to talk to that neighbor who reported it. So we'll stay on it. It's a talker here in Wisconsin.
I say Christina's still news gathering. She's going to try her best to get both sides of this story on Fox Local later today. Christina, can you please take a picture of the chicken that's named after me and send it to me?
Of course.
Thank
Yes,
you
I got
much.
you.
We appreciate that. Thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm going to go ahead and automatically bring in Delaney because that was the best thing of my entire life. Delaney, I'm so sorry I didn't vouch for you to get a chicken named after you, but there's a chicken named after me.
I know, how exciting.
And the bunnies? We have to talk about those
The bunnies were precious.
A day old is actually crazy.
I know.
And it's also, you know, you think about how big a bunny can get, and they started like, I couldn't even see them
They
at
were
first.
so tiny.
So peaceful. I'm jealous of Christina out there with the animals.
I know. I wish I was out there.
Yeah, such an interesting story. I'll have to keep my eye on Fox Local so we can do that. You know what? I got so excited. I thought NASA had started and they were tricking us with a little video. NASA has...
Looks like it might be up now.
Is it up now? Let's see.
I can't tell.
This was up before and then it went away. Should we listen in, Delaney?
Let's listen
Let's listen in and see if we can learn more about this kind of object in the galaxy.
3I means third interstellar, and ATLAS refers to the NASA-funded ATLAS Survey Telescope, which made the discovery. We are joined today by Amit Shathria, NASA's Associate Administrator, Nikki Fox, Associate Administrator for NASA's Science Mission Directorate, Sean Domagal-Goldman, Director for the Astrophysics Division, and Tom Statler, Lead Scientist for Solar System Small Bodies in the Planetary Science Division. We'll be taking questions from the media on the phone bridge and through social media. But before we get started, let's learn more about this fascinating comet and share some images. Amit, kick us off.
Hi, everyone. America leads the way in space exploration. As Courtney noted, a NASA-funded telescope, the Atlas Survey Telescope in Chile, first reported observations of the comet on July 1st, 2025 to the Minor Planet Center. And NASA has been tracking and studying Comet 3I Atlas ever since. We're here today to give you the latest of what we know about Comet 3I Atlas and what we still want to know. But first, what is a comet? It's a small, natural solid body that is a combination of rocky and icy material that evaporates as it warms when it's close to a star like the sun. But to start with, I'd like to address the rumors right at the beginning. I think it's important that we talk about that. This object is a comet. It looks and behaves like a comet and all evidence points to it being a comet. But this one came from outside the solar system, which makes it fascinating, exciting, and scientifically very important. This is only the third interstellar object like this that humanity has ever found. And a little bit more about the rumors. I think it's very important, and I'm actually very excited that a lot of the world was speculating about the comet while NASA was in a period where we couldn't speak about it due to the recent government shutdown. I think what I took away from that whole experience and watching that as we were working during the shutdown was just how interested and how excited people were about the possibility of what this comet could be. There was a lot of speculation about what it could be, but what I think is really awesome is that folks were interested in this incredible finding that we observed and that came from the heavens, and what that means, what it could mean about how magical the universe could be. It expanded people's brains to think about how magical the universe could be. And I'll tell you, here at NASA, we think that every day. And so it's really great that you were able to join us while we were, not able to comment because of the shutdown constraints about what that comet is, because we think the universe is a magical place, and we spend your treasure and we spend all of our time trying to make sure that we explore that.
All right, if you guys are just joining us, we were listening in here as NASA discusses kind of some new information that they've discovered about 3I, or the Atlas Comet. It's this object that was discovered this past summer after it entered our solar system from elsewhere in the galaxy. At some point, we're expected to see some new images of it as well, so we'll keep our eye on that feed, and of course we will bring you back there if anything new or exciting really starts happening with that comet, which the more I learn about it, I think it's actually quite fascinating. But we do have some more news happening right here in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. Gonna go ahead and bring in our very own Jason Calvi, who's in the newsroom today. He is not in a moving vehicle, but you're covering yet another important story really about the mayor vetoing some funding for fire department trucks. But there's a lot of information. So where did this whole thing start, Jason?
So it starts with the fire chief laying out his budget suggestions to the mayor, and he said they needed $14 million in the next budget to replace aging fire trucks. So there's certain norms that the fire industry has, and he says right now they don't have a lot of backup trucks. So if one truck needs to go in for major repairs or even an oil change that might take 4, 5, 6 hours to do all the routine maintenance on a fire truck, they have to bring in one of their reserve trucks. And he said those reserve trucks are really in a bad state of affairs, and we saw pictures of one of the fire trucks that was responding to a scene, and the wheel had kind of caved off of the truck. So he's asking for $14 million. That was what the fire chief wanted to help replace some of their aging fire trucks. The mayor's budget proposal went a lot lower than that. It gave that capital investment of $2 million for new MFD fire trucks. And then the Common Council, in their budget that they passed, they went higher than that. They went $10 million, and part of that was 2 pots of $4 million each. So they kept the mayor's $2 million and then added 2 more pots of $4 million each. One of those pots of money was directed by the mayor's budget proposal to go to a new DPI building in the future that's still not been constructed. The plans are still rough, but that $4 million would have went to that future project for a Department of Public Works building. And the Common Council said, no, we're going to take that money, that $4 million, and put it into MFD fire trucks for this next budget cycle starting in 2026. So that's what the Common Council did in the budget that they passed. Went from the mayor's $2 million to $10 million in their budget. And then the mayor has the opportunity to do partial vetoes, and that's exactly what he did here. He kind of came up with a compromise number. So the number he landed on was not the 2 that he originally proposed, not the 10 that the Common Council passed, but he went with 6. So he kept that $4 million for the DPW building, took it out of the fire truck fund and put it back in the DPW building. So at the end of the day, bottom line, the mayor's veto means that the Milwaukee Fire Department would get $6 million for fire trucks. And now the Common Council is going to be meeting next Tuesday to potentially vote to override the mayor's vetoes and then bring that number back up to potentially $10 million, which is where the Common Council's budget had passed, landed on that number. And then finally, again, that's still lower than what the fire chief asked for when he asked for $14 million.
Yeah, certainly, you know, this is an important topic. You talk about those fire trucks when they have to go to one that's in reserve. You can't just put emergencies on pause or have no fire. So I understand the fire chief asking for some funding. Certainly the Common Council agreed. The mayor, to a point, agreeing that they need some money here. I'm curious, have you been able to speak with Mayor Cavalier-Johnson on why he's not doing that full $10 million and why he feels this new DPW building is also a top priority?
Well, he said that building they're actually continuing to have to fix with major repairs. His estimate that he threw out, and yes, I did interview him today about these budget vetoes. He said they're spending, I think he said $1 million on that building with maintenance and other things to get it fixed. And he said that's just wasting taxpayer money. We should be investing this into a future new building for this DPW electrical services and other parts of the Public Works Department. So that's what the mayor's saying. And at the end of the day, he says there's so many different departments in the city that, you know, all the money can't go to the fire department. And he's saying this is a compromise. So that $6 million allotment is definitely what he says, a compromise from what he had originally proposed, $2 million. The Common Council had proposed $10 million. It meets in the middle at $6 million. He's hoping that this will stay put when the council votes next week to potentially override this veto and others as well.
Obviously, you've been doing a lot of news gathering today, talking to the mayor, certainly a key player here. I would imagine the fire chief is as well. What is his response to kind of what the Common Council said and what the mayor has now said with his veto?
He says the $6 million is just not good enough. He says they've really been putting off these major investments for years and years and years. And he says now, because they postponed these major investments into MFD fire trucks, he says this is now a giant hole for the city, for the fire department, and he really says they need to start putting that money in over the course of the next 2 years. He was hoping for $30 million, so $15 million in this next budget, and then 2027, another $15, $16 million for fire trucks. But again, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to that override vote next week in the Common Council to see what that final number ends up on.
Jason, I'm curious too, how often is it that we see the Common Council do a veto override? Is this common or is this pretty rare?
Yeah, they can do it. I mean, it's part of their powers that they have the ability to potentially override vetoes, and we've seen this give and take in the past where the mayor might veto something and the Common Council can come back and say, okay, we really want to invest in X, Y, or Z, you know, and so we'll see what happens. You know, other things that the mayor vetoed here include some additional Sunday hours for the Milwaukee Public Library, and there's a couple branches there that would have additional funding for Sunday hours according to the Common Council's budget. It wasn't in the mayor's budget, so we'll see what they do on that matter when they come and talk about this fire department, fire truck money. We'll see what they do on that. But it's interesting, when they approved this amendment, there was one council member missing from that vote. That would be the crucial deciding vote. To see if this actually, they are able to reach that magic number to override the mayor's veto if that person decides to vote yes to override, and there would potentially be enough votes on the Common Council. But again, maybe the mayor's pitch that, hey, this is a compromise. The mayor wanted $2 million, you guys wanted 10, I met you in the middle at 6, Can you just sign off on that? Let's save some of that money for the future for DPW to build this new building. That's still just a proposal right now. It's not anything that's being built as we speak.
Yeah, you said Common Council meets next week, November 25th. That's where we'll learn a little bit more. When can we catch your full story on Fox Local later today?
We're going to be on really quickly here, so that's why I'm hoping to get out of the newsroom and get over to do our live shots today. We'll be on Fox Local at 4 o'clock. We'll be on at 5. We'll have another report at 6 as well.
All right, we will keep our eyes out for that, Jason. Thanks so much for joining us from the newsroom.
Haley, have a good day.
Of course. course, kind of a complicated issue there. Jason walking us through the different timelines and how we've gotten to where we've gotten to today, with the mayor now vetoing leaving $6 million in funding. Of course, we'll see what the Common Council decides as far as a veto override. Well, hey, crazy enough, it's already almost 2:30 here. Ted Perry's standing in the wings, ready to take over and get you all the way to 3:30 here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So we're going to go back actually to this live feed with NASA right now as they release some new images and some new information about this new interstellar comet that entered our kind of solar system from elsewhere in the galaxy this past summer. It's very fascinating. So let's listen in and learn more. And then Ted Perry will have you on the other side. Thanks for joining me today.
We add additional capabilities that expand the realm of the possible. In this case, it let us refine the orbit of this structure early on, determine what its structure is and what its composition is, what it is made of. It's a beautiful illustration of why we have not just one space telescope, but a fleet of them, because every one member of that fleet specializes in a different kind of information, contributing a different piece of the puzzle to the total understanding we have from the fleet as a whole. So for example, Old Reliable, NASA's Hubble Space Telescope, celebrated its 35th birthday earlier this year. And not too long after that, in July, it looked at 3I Atlas, not long after we discovered it from the ground. At this point, 3I Atlas was about 277 million miles from Earth. And what Hubble's images revealed was a few things. First, a teardrop-shaped coma of dust coming off that solid, icy nucleus of the comet itself. From these data, astronomers were able to more accurately narrow a few things. Importantly, the size of the nucleus. We now know it's between, at that point actually, we knew it was between 1,400 feet in diameter up to as large as 3.5 miles in diameter. And Hubble also saw that the comet was losing dust, and not just losing it, but losing it at a rate consistent with other previous sun-bound comets that originated from within our solar system, consistent with the physics that we figured out from watching those objects. Now, the last thing Hubble did is it gave us a better understanding of the orbit of this object. Tell us not just where it was, but where it was heading, so we could point other observatories at it, such as the James Webb Space Telescope. We added this to our fleet early in this decade. We didn't have it when the last two interstellar comets came around. Now, what James Webb did, and its companion SphereX, which we only launched at the beginning of this year, is it added infrared observations. The power of infrared observations is these are colors we can't see. They're redder than what our eyes can detect. And infrared light is particularly good at helping us understand the composition of objects. We can see little molecular fingerprints from the things that the objects are made of. So with these infrared observations, with James Webb and SphereX, we detected an abundance of carbon dioxide gas in the comet's coma and in the bright cloud of gas and dust surrounding that comet as it approaches the sun. Those molecular fingerprints I mentioned, those are the little like science wiggles you might see in the top right of these images. We now know from seeing those science wiggles, those fingerprints of those molecules, that the comet has a nucleus rich in carbon dioxide as well as the presence of water ice. Now, the ratio, like we can not just say that these things are there, we can also say, what's the ratio of carbon dioxide to water? And we now know that. We know it's larger than what we usually see in solar system objects. But there's a lot of natural explanations for that. For one, the carbon dioxide is going to kind of bake off that comet earlier on when it's far away. But there's other well-understood processes that could also explain it. I'll just, to put this in context, every time we look beyond our solar system and we look at the ratios of carbon dioxide to water, we see, whether it's a star or a planet, different ratios than we see in the solar system, and that's true for this comet as well. So it could mean, and this is the last theory of why those ratios could be different, that these ices could have been exposed to higher levels of radiation than comets in our own system. Or, as I said before, could be that the comet just formed from a region where carbon dioxide ice was particularly abundant and different from our solar system. Other missions like our SWIFT spacecraft, which studies X-rays and gamma rays, have also observed the comet.
All right, fascinating stuff there from that NASA press conference releasing new images of an interstellar comet. If you've ever seen a comet, I saw one just the other night. They are fascinating, but you got to be quick to see them. 2:34, 44 degrees. Ted Perry with you on a Wednesday on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Looking forward to being with you this next hour for a couple of reasons. Want to update you on a lot of things going on. It is a particularly interesting news day, a lot of politics, but also Want to talk about growing old. Age is just a number, we're told, but one thing is sure, we only have a limited amount of those numbers. So in a little bit here, we're going to talk to a UW professor who is the head of a new study on aging and what we know about aging and what we need to learn about aging. And if you're like me, the older they get, the more interested you are in the years ahead and making them quality years. So what I'm going to do here is take a quick break so we can spend more time together on the other side. You are watching Wisconsin Live Desk on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hi, everybody. Ted Perry with you on the FOX6 Live Desk right here. 237, 44 degrees. We're going to check in with Stephanie Barrichello in a little bit. But now you're going to get a little inside baseball because my producer, Delaney, is going to talk me through putting our guest into what we call a double box. So, Delaney, talk me through that. We should have done that during the break.
You might have to page down on the switcher, but you'll hit box 2, router 1.
Box 2, router 1. Very good. Sorry about this, folks. This should have been done before. But no, that didn't work. Ta-da, that worked. All right, very good. I can see. Well, let's get to our guest because she's having a good chuckle here because I have made some mistakes. So let me just do right that and introduce you to Professor Rosalind Anderson, Professor of Medicine and UW School of Medicine and Public Health. Professor, how are you this afternoon?
Tip top, although I noticed you were saying to everybody, what a glorious afternoon. I looked out my window and I thought, are you in the same spot as me?
Well, we're going to talk about that because it's all a matter of perspective on things and optimism and keeping a fresh mind. Is that not part of what we're going to be talking about?
100%.
All right,
yeah, absolutely
touche.
right on that.
Professor, you and I have never met, but I'm pretty good with dialects, and I'm sensing a little Irish.
Oh yeah, top of the morning, exactly.
You're from where?
I'm originally Irish, yeah, but
Okay.
I've lived here for 25 years.
Perfect.
I've really picked up the accent.
Good. You've dropped it. So let me begin with that and introduce you to our guest here on Wisconsin Live Desk. Let me start with an Irish proverb. Do not resent growing old, for many are denied the privilege. And we're talking today about aging and a new study that you have going on there at the Wisconsin Nathan Schock Center in the UW campus. You are a professor of medicine, like we say, but you're studying specifically aging. And there's a new study that you've just kicked off What makes this study different? Because I'm fascinated by it.
Okay, so I'm going to have to correct you a little bit. I
Okay,
apologize.
yeah, do that. That's great.
It's a new center,
Okay.
which is going to support many, many studies.
Perfect.
So I personally have been working in aging for a long time.
Right.
That's what I came here to study.
You've worked with primates.
And
yes.
I have,
Yeah.
sorry, say that again?
You've worked with primates and aging, studying them, yes?
Primates
Yeah.
and mice and cells and human parts. I mean, we're not discrimination. we have the lot. And so we established this center here. I'm finding this a little distraction. I can only see myself. It just launched this year, and it's all about aging biology. And what we're trying to do is to recognize the talent, expertise, and investment that have already occurred on the UW campus to bring together this hub for aging research. So we have everything from model organisms and short-lived species to translational studies, and then a key feature which we call discovery and integration, which is going to bring in some new techniques and technologies to bring all of this information together so we can get new insights and new steps that we can take and apply in terms of human aging and, of course, clinical intervention. It's very, very exciting.
What is the goal? Is it to learn how to age better, to learn how we age, why we age? You're bringing together a lot of facets of the university, right? A lot of different schools are involved in this. What is the mission statement?
So I think the bottom line of this is, well, as you probably know, there's been a huge initiative on campus already called the RISE program, and this is Research, Innovation, and Scholarly Excellence. And HealthSpan, Transforming HealthSpan, is one of the arms of that new initiative. The population is getting older. We see the demographics, and it's not just Wisconsin, it's not just the US, it's worldwide. And so there's this growing appreciation of some of the conditions and difficulties that are associated with getting to advanced age. So we know there are a variety of conditions for which age itself is the greatest risk factor. It eclipses everything else. And so we know in the biology of aging field that there's something going on during aging. The underlying biology is changing, and that is what creates the vulnerability. So the idea is, if we can understand that biology, we would have an insight into all of these different conditions: cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative disease, cancer, diabetes, all of which share this massive risk factor, which is actual age. But there's good news. So we know from these biology studies that we can change how aging happens. We can change the pace of aging. We can change the outcomes during aging. So the idea isn't really to stop aging, but to make aging a better experience, to offset some of those conditions so that they happen later and that there's fewer of them coincident. And so the clues we have from biology are there. We can change aging and lifespan in short-lived species. And so now the trick is, how do we take these clever new insights and convert them into a way that's usable in human aging and in clinical practice, new interventions, new drugs, for example.
Right. You talk about what we know about aging. Let me ask you what we don't know about aging that you hope to discover. Do you have a checklist of things that keep you up at night thinking, I don't know this and this and this, and I've got to know it?
Well, what I really love is the cell biology and how everything is orchestrated, how it all works together. And I think that's probably a little bit niche for many other folks. But I think what we could do with some more understanding, like I said, we're getting the hints. How aging happens is very much on an individual level. So there's a kind of running gag in the geriatrics field, see one 70-year-old, you've seen one 70-year-old, because everybody who comes in presents a little bit differently.
Right.
So if we could understand how those differences arise, how aging manifests a little bit differently, we could tailor the treatment. So one of these things that we have in the scientific realm is this separation of what I call chronological age, or what we all call chronological age. So how many years are you on the planet versus your biological age. And that's how your biology is poised. So you can find that different people of identical chronological age are quite different in terms of biological age. So the thing I'd love to see is to be able to catalog and quantify that and then apply it. So two people walk into a clinic and they don't get the same treatment for the same condition because the same approach isn't appropriate in the two different persons. Do you see what I mean?
I do, yes. But you talk about biology. There's some of it's just given. That's the hand we're dealt. But can we also change our biology through nutrition, through eating habits? What? Give me the practicality of what you're studying for someone who's not an academic like me. What am I? Because I'll be honest with you, 20 years ago, I might not be interested if there was a new center coming for aging because I thought I had forever to live. I'm north of 60 now, so I'm very curious as to what you find and how it applies to my life. So what takeaways are you hoping to be able to give to the general public and not just keep it an academic journal?
Sure. Well, so I can tell you, the same kind of things that your grandmother might have said, stay active, be healthy, stay connected. These are all true. These are things that will keep you operating optimally, avoiding, risky behaviors, I suppose, as well. The difference between what your grandmother might have said and what we know now is that we have a better understanding of the how. So things like exercise, as you get into older age, it's absolutely vital to stay active. Use it or lose it. It's real. We're getting more clues now about the biology underlying that, and we can understand, actual processes, why exercise is associated with cognitive benefits, why being fit and active is associated with lower risk for disease and lower incidence of disease. But these are the same old things that you might have thought from the past. The trick comes in then, not all of these options are open to all people. So for example, somebody recovering from a prolonged bed rest, how do they tackle this? It's okay to wave your hands and say exercise and food, but what food, what exercise? And so I think those are the gaps we're trying to close at this university and many other aging focused institutes and centers around the country. The aging field is a very friendly bunch. We started off quite small, but as the momentum has gained, we've attracted in a lot of talent, and we have a great ethos, I think, within aging research to include all, but also to look broadly. So we don't just stick around in molecules, but that's my favorite place to be. We have geriatricians, clinicians, people engaged in technology, wearables, how to capture how fit a person is, how to monitor the quality of their sleep, and how to try weave these things in together to understand what kind of interventions are going to work for them ultimately.
And perhaps that field of experts is growing because the baby boomers are an aging population, and it's a huge population. So I guess my interest is downright selfish, right? I want to know what's best for me as I go forward, and I'm just admitting that. How are you?
If it turns out to be true for you, it'll be true for everybody. So it's okay to be selfish.
Right.
Ends up altruism in the end.
You mentioned my grandmother. What she might have said is eat more, eat more. You got to want a sandwich. You want some. Now we're learning about the benefits of fasting, which I know you've studied a little bit. Could you talk about that and how it affects the aging process? Because as some guy who's perennially trying to drop 15 pounds, I'm told that's a good way to do it. But this might also help my longevity.
It's very interesting. So this is something that, culturally we've known for really centuries, these periods of fasting that people would embark on for, clarity and health. There are molecular basis for that. And there's a lot of interest in small periods of fasting, like this time restricted eating. So you only eat during certain periods of the day. Or, once a week, you would have a very low calorie intake. And so one of the things that happens there seems to be this huge ramp up of efficiency in the body as a whole. And so there's, during this fasting period, repair and maintenance. And then when you refeed, there's this burst of growth, but it's good quality growth. So for regenerative tissues like gut and liver and your blood cells, for example, all of those seem seem to show signs of improvement, even with periodic fasting. And so you don't have to not eat at all, just massively reduce, and only for a couple of days, and only in cycles every month or so. So those data are emerging, and there's huge interest in it. But I think one of the things that goes hand in hand with that, with this, that type of fasting diet, is improved quality of sleep and improved levels of energy. And so it's very hard to disentangle in people which pieces are actually driving the improvements and which pieces are coming along for the ride. But I can safely say those that, not eating all the time is a good idea. And so if you can limit the number of meals and not be snacking, I think those hidden calories at night, people are staying up to watch TV. You don't think you're eating them, but you are, and they have a consequence.
Oh, it's
so
it's
it's not
the damage
just
I
lower
do from
calorie
midnight
intake,
to 2 a.m.
but fasting as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I
was
can
gonna
see
say,
something else is coming in there.
The damage I do to my diet happens from 11:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. because I'm a second shifter. So if I can curb that,
there
we're
you
good.
have it. Yeah.
So many
yeah.
factors going into aging, and I'm going to make this my penultimate question here. Environment, physical environment, pollution, a number of things. But some cultures seem to age better with better quality. And you look at the blue zones in Japan and Switzerland and Liechtenstein. What do we take from those areas and those cultures that perhaps might age better than those of us in North America?
Yeah, I think this is just a question of it being a sweet spot. So, I've been studying caloric restriction, which delays aging. It changes the pace of aging in all sorts of animals that it's been tested in, with extremely parallel results in humans, by the way. But, that's a tough one to take on, and most people wouldn't really be able to manage it. In the early days, though, we had evidence from the Okinawan population, for example, and these blue zones. In many instances, their calorie intake was lower than the usual. So that not overeating is part of it. But there's a second component also in what they were eating. So it tends to be a plant-rich diet by and large. They're getting plenty of protein, but it's coming from plants and fish more than it would, or maybe even poultry, not red meat. So it seems there is a way to get that diet composition into a sweet spot. But there are also areas where people remained active and socially engaged because they're community living. So there's a bunch of things that conspire against us in modern lifestyle. The food that comes in a pouch that you microwave, the evening spent engaged viewing and receiving information instead of interacting with the information. There are a whole bunch of features in there that really, I think they're conspiring against us. But, with a little bit of motivation, I think it's possible with, very little effort to incorporate some of those healthier practices that we know have been a component of these blue zones. I can't tell you which one, if you were to pick one and only do it, would it work? It seems to be a constellation. So more active lifestyle and a healthier diet. The trick is, if you imagine, and it's true, you have one body, it's all you ever get. It brings you everywhere, it does everything, it repairs itself. It is a glory. So how are you going to best treat it? You wouldn't put badly contaminated gas in your car. So why on earth would you not put the best you can find in your body? Because after all, we are what we eat. And I think that's step one. Ask yourself, is this the best I can do to treat this wonderful instrument that carries me around? And that's a starting place.
And be kind to yourself about it. Don't be judgmental to yourself. Just say, hey, what's best for me here? Instead of kicking yourself for having, half a
You've
pound
got to
cake.
live a little. It helps a lot.
So let me ask you this. They say faith is planting a tree that you'll never get to sit in the shade of, right? So you're studying aging, but that must take a while. When do you hope to start seeing results of what this center can do? Can it be within a year? And are there others that are going to take 20 years? When do you get to pick the fruit of your labors here?
Well, so we've got different types of fruit. So we're growing new products, new pipelines, new methodologies. We're supporting new talent coming into the field. And then we're also, we're trying to convert everybody, people who are already in biomedical research, and help to convince them that though they may not know it, they are already studying aging. And so the fruits will be across the board. The productivity of those new investigators and, new converts that we bring in, the new products that are then used nationally and internationally to advance aging. And so with each publication, with each new study, with each new person trained in this research, we make more steps forward. But one of the features that we have in our center is this translation and application core. And the goal there is to help people to get those ideas sooner into implementation. And so we call this Geroscience Accelerator, because you have to have a good name for these things. The tools are there, but they're dispersed and people aren't aware of them. And so this is going to be, we're going to be able to take someone and go, you have a fabulous idea. Let's get you to drug discovery, to understanding how to test this. What are your steps in terms of regulations, in terms of safety and efficacy? How do you get from this brilliant idea into something that we'll be able to see on the shelves not too long from now?
And finally, Professor Anderson, how can people help? If people watching this right now are concerned about aging, would like to help others age, are you looking for volunteers? Do you have those, or do you select? The selection process is not a cattle call, so maybe I shouldn't even ask you this, right?
No, well, and that's one of the things, but I can tell you there are beautiful studies of human aging. I say human aging because I'm so used to dealing with animals. Persons aging, actually in Wisconsin right now, the Wisconsin Longitudinal Study is going decades. SHOW, which is the Survey of Health in Wisconsin, is a newer one, but that's also throughout the state. The ADRC and Wisconsin Registry for Alzheimer's Patients also has an aging study. And then MIDAS, Midlife in the US, which started in 1957 and has been following people since. So we have, Wisconsin is just a magnificent location for translating to aging biology because that investment has already been made. Now, much of these are supported by federal dollars, but they're really supported by the state of Wisconsin and the communities of persons who have already engaged with these studies and given their time and given their permission to use their data. So I think Wisconsin is really showing the way. How do we make sure that we understand as much as we can about aging and then use that information to affect clinical practice, but also policies geared towards understanding what are the challenges of age? So I can't claim responsibility for that. We're really kind of hardcore biology, but Wisconsin is already doing it. And the university is really at the forefront in that entire endeavor.
Well, speaking of giving time, you've been so generous with yours, and I want to thank you for shedding this light on the center. And the center's name is?
The Nathan Schock Center.
Okay, gotcha.
Named after the founder of NIA in NIH.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
We've been speaking with Rosalind Anderson, Professor Rosalind Anderson, a professor of medicine at UW-Medicine, of School and Public Health. Professor, cheers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Lovely.
Cheers. Carry on. All right. Very good. That was fascinating for me to learn. I hope it was fascinating for you. And you can watch this whole interview if you're just joining in bits of it later on fox6now.com and, of course, the Fox Local app. Thanks to Professor Anderson. It was just so lovely to talk to her. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to check in on Congress. There seems to be something interesting going on there. You're watching Fox Wisconsin Live Desk on Fox Local 257. We'll come back. We'll check in with Stephanie Barrichello, get a look at when things might warm up. We were promised a warmer weekend. We'll be right back.
I do think it is a good idea. It worked once.
This
and
is the
frankly, if you don't
Wisconsin
learn
Live
history,
Desk.
as the saying goes, we're doomed.
Welcome back to you, everybody. 2:59, approaching 3 o'clock. Ted Perry on the Wisconsin Live Desk. 42 degrees. We had a professor on a few moments ago from the University of Wisconsin, Professor Rosalind Anderson, who is running the Center for Aging, which is a fascinating interview we just did. And if you're just joining us, go back and check it out on the Fox Local app. But she was giving me the business about me calling it a beautiful afternoon, and I was saying it's all a matter of perspective, right? It could be 38 and raining, but it's 42 and just chilly with a breeze in the air. So there's an interesting thing happening in D.C. This is the House Committee on Law and Order, and it was getting a bit contentious, so why don't we take a listen?
Somebody off the streets, and it's going to continue to do it. That's why we lock up the toothpaste. So I would argue, and as I said, the sweet spot for me was in the 2014-2015 era there, where under a Democratic mayor and Democratic administration in New York, we drove down not only crime, but incarceration rates. That can be done if it's done intelligently. My hope had been that we could speak about that in a bipartisan way, because both sides have, in my opinion, good points to make. You don't want to lock everybody. You don't want to incarcerate your way out of these things. If it's done intelligently, surgically, you can make progress. We've done that before. So I don't think, to answer your question, we need to reinvent the wheel. We should just look at what worked in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Morrow. Ms. McKinney, do you have any thoughts on if there's anything in particular we ought to do that could be helpful?
As far as policing goes, I think that just the local leaders and also government leaders should definitely have a hard stance on crime and come forward and just denounce and stop being soft. Just, you know, this repeat offender stuff, telling the criminals that it's okay with what they can do and releasing them. Give them a 3 strikes and you're out. We used to have that in Memphis years ago, and it did deter crime. It showed the younger people that they were not allowed to go back out and do it again, that there would be consequences for what they were going to do. You know, a lot of the problems that we have in Memphis is through leadership. They are very neglectful in their duties. They don't prioritize education for the children. A lot of the children in Memphis don't know how to read. They don't know how to do basic math, and that's an issue. Parent accountability is an issue. Parents just let their kids run wild. You know, they don't know where their kids are at. I don't know what you can do about that. I don't agree with having, you know, parents be held accountable for their children's decisions in some instances, because parents can only do so much. The children do.
Okay, you've been watching a House Committee on Law and Order. It's always fascinating to hear congressmen talk, and you can tell, you know, pretty quickly on what side of their aisle we're on, or by the approach of the questions they're asking of the guest today. But I think there was a general unified front in finding ways to reduce violence in America here. What we're going to do now, and I'll keep a monitor on that because it's pretty interesting, I want to bring in Stephanie Barrichello. There she is above the skyline. It looks like you're like the goddess of the skyline today a little bit, right? Do you like that? Okay, well, hold on. I got to get reaction to that. What is she on, weather or ulti? You, okay. Sorry, whatever you said was brilliant. Okay. No, that, trust me, it's operator error, okay? It's never you.
We have 2 mics back here, and sometimes I put the wrong one
on,
so it's not always.
But you didn't. But I was saying you look like the goddess of the city there. Do you like that?
Like I'm pushing all the clouds to the south.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here.
I don't know if you heard, we had a guest on, a professor from UW in the last segment, and I said it was a beautiful afternoon. And in a beautiful Irish accent, she called me out on it. She said, you think it's beautiful. I'm not sure it's beautiful over here. I'm laying that on a bit thick. She deserves better than that, but I just wanted a chance to do an accent because I know how you love it when I do that.
Well, you know what? I interviewed Irish dancers today.
Oh, did you?
One was from Ireland.
You know what?
You nailed it.
I'm Irish dancing right now, and you don't even know because
Wow.
it's all legs.
That's-
Brett Lemoyne is in the studio with me right here. He's
I
learning
thought
how
I
to.
saw him.
He's learning how to do that. Am I not Irish dancing right now?
It's something.
Okay, it's something.
Okay.
Okay, stay in your corner. Okay, nobody puts baby in a corner, but I will put Brett Lemoyne in the corner, and I will kick him out if he doesn't learn.
That's why Ted has legs of steel. It's
Yeah,
the
I
Irish
think
dancing.
it's beautiful today, though. I like this crispness. As long as yesterday was horrible. There's
was.
nothing worse than a November rain.
I agree. It was raw and
Yes.
just so uncomfortable to be outside. So the fact that we were dry today,
Yep.
even though it was cloudy, and then the wind was calm today too. We know this time of year, that makes such a huge difference.
Yeah. What's the weather headline then today? Or did you just say it?
No, I mean, calm weather is going to continue. A couple more days of cloud cover, but then as we get to the weekend and early next week, we do have more sunshine in the forecast. We've had little peaks here and there of the sun. In fact, this view kind of showing more cloud cover down towards the south with maybe a few more peaks of blue sky and sunshine here locally. We're still going to hang on to some clouds through the night tonight and into tomorrow. In fact, weak disturbance moving through could bring a sprinkle or two on Thursday. Nothing compared to yesterday. In fact, I think a lot of spots will stay dry tomorrow, but do expect the clouds to still stick around. Now it's 42 degrees. Wind is out of the southeast, making it feel just a little bit cooler, so wind chills in the upper 30s, but it's been a pretty typical late November day. Temperatures a little below where they should be, but remember, 40s are much more normal than 50s are. We're below that point where 50 is well above average. Here's our little pocket of sunshine as we look at satellite. You can still see plenty more in the way of cloud cover towards the south, all continuing to move in our direction. So enjoy the little bit we have right now, and then just plan on the cloud cover sticking around through the night tonight. There are a few sprinkles towards Minneapolis, some steadier rain right now, and some wind tree mix up across northern Minnesota. That's going to continue to track eastward here, so we won't see any of that. But some of those little sprinkles you see near the Minneapolis, Twin Cities area, that's what we could potentially see at times tomorrow. It's a pretty low chance, so not expecting to see a lot, but just know if you're out and about on Thursday and potentially even late tonight, you feel a few sprinkles, it's certainly a possibility. Now this is kind of sad. This shows how low the bar is when it comes to temperatures. We are quite a bit warmer right now than where we were at this point yesterday, and temperatures are only in the low 40s, below average at this point, but it just shows how cold and how windy yesterday was. We've got mid-40s in a handful of spots from West Bend into Waukesha. Again, Milwaukee just a little bit cooler, and you can see more of those low 40s towards the west, but average temperatures this time of year are in these mid 40s. So this is normal what you see out west into parts of West Bend as well as Waukesha. We're just a little bit below here. With the cloud cover sticking around, temperatures tonight are going to hold pretty steady, meaning we are going to be warmer tonight compared to last night. We had clouds clear late last night into early this morning. Low temperatures this morning, Ted, in some of our northern communities, low 20s. And if you were up early, even in the Milwaukee area, you had to scrape your windshield if you left your car out because temperatures really did drop, all thanks to those clearing clouds. As far as the longer range goes, temperatures are looking to improve. We've got a day in the 50s tomorrow. Again, still cloudy, but a day in the 50s tomorrow. Couple of upper 40s, still technically above average.
Fine.
And then the weekend, Ted, into early next week. I mean, these
Jackpot.
are gorgeous numbers to get outside. I mean, it doesn't compare to last weekend when we almost hit 70, but that's okay. We're to the time of year where 50s are fantastic for the end of November.
50s are nifty. I've said that
50s are nifty.
all along.
Hashtag.
Give me your ideal Saturday then. What do you do Saturday? You're not working, so how are you going to make the most of it?
That's a great question. So Saturday morning is all swim in my house.
Okay.
We do recreational swim for
You have
the
a pool in
girls.
your house?
I wish.
Okay, no, okay, I see.
No.
Your household,
Recreational
you guys
swim.
go to the pool and go swimming. I
Yeah,
guess.
so that's
Okay.
that kind of eats up our morning, but just getting outside, going for a walk, maybe going for a bike ride. I'm very thankful my kids like to be outside. I don't know, dare we put Christmas decorations up? We thought about
You
doing
dare?
it last weekend.
Why not?
Might as well do it this weekend.
There is no hard and fast rule on holiday decorations. I mean,
true.
seriously. If
But
you
I
want-
have an inflatable turkey though.
Mhm.
So do I take him down? Do
Oh,
I
no,
just
no,
do
no.
Christmas and inflatable turkey?
No, they cannot run concurrently.
Oh.
They have to run consecutively.
Oh,
So if you've got the giant turkey, what is that? Is that a big? I was going to say, is that a big blow up of woks? But that's not fair. That's not fun. Come on.
No comment.
No comment. He's not watching, is he? I'm just teasing. Got to keep that up. You can't do both.
I know.
One step at a time. Now, if you don't put up Thanksgiving decorations and you want to put up holiday Christmas right now, I say yes.
Yeah.
Agree with that?
I think this really will be a big weekend. I do agree of putting Christmas lights up just because temps will be in the 50s.
Fine. Yeah, don't confuse the seasons. Either
No.
go to the next one and use that as a step or bypass it, but don't.
So no turkey outside, Christmas tree inside?
Right.
Not acceptable?
Don't. It's like plaid and stripes. It's just not going to work. All right. Stephanie Barrichello, we always love talking to you on this, learning a little bit more about you, and getting the greatest forecaster around right here from the Fox 6 Weather Experts.
Well, thank you very much, Ted.
All right. Cheers so much. Thank you. I am going to take a break. And Brett Lemoyne is in the booth with me training today. And I'm the best person to teach it because once I can understand something, anyone can. Okay? You know, Ben, Murph, Mary, they're all very smart. Me, it takes me a while to learn things. So once I learn it, I can teach it to him. So that's what we're going to do maybe next. We'll do some on-air training. You want to do that? You want to press some buttons? Wonderful. All right. He's so excited. We hope you are too. We're going to take a quick break. We're back with Waukesha County reporter Brett Lemoyne, who is in Milwaukee County. We'll ask him how that works when we're back here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Oh boy, are you in for a treat? Stop staring at yourself. Brett Lemoyne, Waukesha County reporter, joining us here at the studio in the Wisconsin Live Desk.
I crossed the border.
What brings you to our fair county?
Shoes.
Oh, should we elaborate?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. In the past, we've gotten different Christmas bonuses, and we're all very grateful. Very often, they're FOX6 related. I have a great fleece vest. I have a great gym bag. Last year, we got the wonderful Yeti thermoses. Not just thermoses, Yeti thermoses. We had a good year. And so this year, our new gym is trying something different, a shoe bank.
A shoe bank. Yeah.
Upstairs in our conference room.
It was like a Foot Locker up there.
It looked like a Foot Locker.
Yeah.
That's not the company that's doing it. I think
No,
the
it's
company
not.
that's doing it would prefer a plug, but
Yes,
I've escaped their names, escape me. And we get one pair of shoes for Christmas.
Yeah, and they don't have a company logo on them.
No, it's not like you're wearing FOX6 shoes.
No. But when you step, where that leaves a mark. The
FOX6 logo.
FOX6 logo.
It's not a
That's
bad
what they should
idea.
do.
Walk up and down Bradford Beach, McKinley
I
Beach.
suggested it.
That's
So.
kind of brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to suggest
Make
it
a
too.
note
Foot
for
imprint.
next year.
Okay. And you get one pair of shoes. What'd you go with?
Yeah. I went with this. I don't even know what it's called. It's like a mini boot kind of a thing.
Is that the one that
It's like
slips on and off?
Mid to ankle.
Brown?
Yeah.
With a little
with
fur?
a zipper.
That was my
Oh, not
second.
the-
That was
not
my
the
second
fur.
choice.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I went with the Nike green and gold Packer with the Packer emblem on it. It's not something I would ever buy for myself.
Well, yeah, but
if they're
still.
giving me a brand new pair of shoes,
Why not?
I'll do it.
Why not?
So we're very grateful for that. Is
Yes.
that seriously why you're here?
Well,
Okay.
and to learn from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Wisconsin Live Desk, and these are our viewers. Say hello.
Hi there. Hi,
And
Mom.
what makes this so different is that usually Brett and I are in front of a camera, whether you're here on the anchor desk or you're out in the field in Waukesha County.
Yeah.
It's you and the camera. You've written what you're going to say. It's scripted for the most part. We got to keep it tight, and you do a wonderful job of that. And then someone else is pressing the button. Someone else is making sure your mic is up and hot. Someone else is making sure the pictures. This is a one-stop shop.
yeah.
We are shopkeeper, janitor, CEO of this domain right here.
There are so many buttons. It's mind-boggling. But I think I've got the hand of it.
Okay.
I think.
So what we have here is we have 4 routers. We call them routers. All right. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is to bring up the one with the White House in it and talk over it a little bit.
That would be router 2.
Router 2. Go ahead.
And
Boom.
there you go.
And we're looking at the White
A
House.
live look at the White House right now.
What kind of day is it there?
It looks very comfortable for a mid-November, mid to late November now.
Yeah. I was referring more to the political temperature there because it's an interesting day since the Epstein file vote passed yesterday almost unanimously in the House of Representatives. Chip Roy of Texas was a no vote on that, and then the U.S. Senate passing it as well, sending it over. So the White House now dealing with how they handle this and the reaction to that. So we can do that. Now there's also a NASA router 3 there. Bring that up and let's let the folks listen there. Now what we do there is we come over to router 3 and we go to this.
And this is fascinating. This is about the what is it
because
called?
we're closer to the grains of sands on Mars, right? And
Interstellar
so
comet.
this is
comet
like
that's from another galaxy, right? It's only the third.
Yeah, I
one
think that's
come-
what I think that's. See, look at you. You already know more about it. So tell me more.
I try. Atlas 3 Atlas, I believe, is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's only the third time in that we know of that an object from another solar system has come into our solar system, which is fascinating. And so the scientists have been studying this for quite a while. I believe at the end of October it made its way around the sun, and so now it's coming up on the other side. And so NASA has been trying to get as many pictures and get a good look at this before it heads back out of our galaxy. I don't know if those are
our line of sight.
Our line of
this
sight,
is
for
from.
sure.
Are you a space guy?
I'm not. I'm not.
How do you know so much about that?
I'm fascinated by this particular comment.
Okay.
That's it.
This from planetary.org, and it's not going to be any more than Mr. Lemoyne just told us. This visitor from the great beyond zoomed into the astronomical spotlight when it was discovered in July of this year, and it has the world talking about interstellar objects once again. The idea of an interstellar object is naturally intriguing, so there's no surprise that it's making news. And it's not the first known one, but it's still pretty interesting here.
Yeah.
One was discovered in October of 2017, and another August of 2019. So it's been a minute since this has happened.
And they named them the name 3I Atlas. I believe it's because it's the third interstellar, so I.
Okay.
And then Atlas is, I believe, the name of the telescope that was used to discover it.
Gotcha. So what's happening here is this feed is going away, so we don't want to stay on that.
No,
so where do we want to be?
Well, I guess I would go back to
Camera 1, very
go
good.
Back to us.
Learning on the job here, and we're happy to do it. Do you know how old that comet is? Don't look.
I don't know off the top of my head. No.
Initial studies, and again, this is from planetary.org, maybe between 3 and 14 billion years old. That's staggering how anything could be that old.
Mind-boggling.
Outside of a Vigoda.
Well, and to think, that it's been going around who knows where in all that time. But a lot of people are looking at this thinking, maybe is it actually organic? Is it maybe something else that's come in as a vessel to spy on us, perhaps from another universe?
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I think, obviously,
pretty dark conspiracy theory right there.
I'm not saying that.
You're allowed to do that. And one of the things you're going to love about this, and this kind of was built for guys like you and Ben Handelman, who just can talk about many topics at once and juggle a lot of things. I have trouble going from A to B to C, but anyway, is that you get to decide What we put on the newscast is sort of a group effort. It's a healthy debate that we have every day. I think we should cover this, know this. You get to primarily decide what we're covering in Waukesha County because that's your beat and your home. But for the most part, it's a team effort. This is a team effort because the team is you and Delaney Reed, who's our producer.
Who's amazing.
Producer Cam.
Yeah,
Hello, there she is right there. Hey, Delaney, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. We'll get to you in a sec, but so that's the team.
Yeah.
And you get to decide what's important today. If you think something on NASA is interesting, take it. If you think, now right now we have no news conference up to bring you about, so it's a good day for you to be in training.
That's why I'm here to kill time.
No, it's and some days you're going to have to do that, but other days there's so much, and you get to be the lone content manager, you and Delaney together, and that's what's interesting. So what makes you nervous? What don't you understand?
Well, I mean, I just filling the time, really, because on a moment like this, when you don't really have anything to pivot to except for a live look at the White House,
right?
There's not a whole lot that you can
It's a
say.
bit of a, it's a bit of a news desert right now
Yeah.
in here. But that's why, and you have the freedom to do this, and I learned this from Ben Handelman and Mary Stoker-Smith and Kim Murphy, who have all been doing this before me. Set up a guest. Whatever interests you and you find to be newsworthy.
Sure.
I mean, you don't, get to call up your folks and just talk to them.
Well, I do that daily anyway.
Yeah, I know, but that's not news.
No.
You get to decide a news angle. I was fascinated by this UW-Madison News Center on Aging. So we got Professor Rosalind Anderson on, and we talked to her for 20 minutes. I don't have that luxury on FOX6 News at 5. I'm lucky if I get 3 minutes to do an interview.
That's true.
So you are going to love the editorial independence you have on this. And, you know what I like to do, by the way?
Yeah.
I like to ask once during a thing, where are you watching us from? And I've gotten some interesting, one gentleman was watching down in Memphis, Tennessee, logs in every day to watch. So send me an email at ted.perry@fox.com. ted.perry@fox.com. Let me know where you're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk from. Questions, concerns?
No. This
Okay.
is very helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Tell us about, I love what you're doing in Waukesha
Sure.
County. I'm always fascinated. Sometimes you get the kooky stories a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're also covering court cases and government affairs.
It's a good mix.
How do you decide, and you have the inside track here because you're also a resident. You grew up there, you live there, you know Waukesha County. So when Brett Lemoyne says this is important, I believe more than anything, any story I wanted to pitch in Waukesha County, that's going to trump mine. How do you decide every day what is going to represent the most important news of Waukesha County?
Well, I think first and foremost, if it's something that impacts the most amount of people in the county, right? That's first and foremost. But then I also think, is it interesting?
Yeah.
Because you got to hold everybody's attention for that minute and a half that we get to tell that story. And I think I have a pretty good feeling about if it's something that I think is interesting, and I think if it's something that impacts my community, which, like you said, I live in, then I think other people will too. And I was happy. I mean, I was just looking at our website, and 3 stories on our main page are stories that I did just yesterday.
Well,
in
there you go.
Waukesha County.
It's
not to brag.
It's not a contest.
I'm
right?
just saying.
It's not a contest.
I know it's not a
Okay.
contest.
Oh, you're winning the internet today.
No, I'm just saying. I think that's indicative, right, of the interest that's out there for those types of stories.
Yeah.
So,
okay. You're not doing one today, or are you?
I'm not. No.
Okay, because
No.
again, free shoes.
I had to get the shoes.
I want to ask you about a guy you've done some stories on.
Sure.
County Executive Paul Farrow.
Yeah.
Who is one of the finest public servants, one of the most down-to-earth politicians I think you can come across. I had him on the podcast when we were at the Republican National Convention, talked to him a couple times afterward. I just found him to be engaging and down to earth, and he's been battling cancer, and the most recent update wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. And to piggyback off that, he is someone that also grew up in politics with his mom.
Margaret Farrow,
yes,
former lieutenant governor.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, I think he gets it. He knows kind of how to work a room and whatnot, but he's very, very nice, very down to earth. And it is so sad to see that this has happened to him. And he's been very brave about being upfront with his treatments and his
I think as a public official you have to let your constituents know what you're dealing, why you're not, might always be available, and also transparency. And it's tough. We don't want to talk about our personal lives.
No, we don't. But we also, I think, want to know that there is someone who's handling county duties,
Yeah.
you know, and whatnot. And he, by and large, I mean, he has been. I was just out. I was moderating a panel on mental health a few weeks ago for the Waukesha County Community Foundation, and he was in attendance. And I came up to him and was talking to him, and he said, you know, he knows what his limits are because it's so taxing on him, the chemotherapy and whatnot, and he knows what his limits are, and so he's got to be very mindful of the time that he spends to delegate to, you know, various things. And so I think it speaks very highly that, you know, he's still out in the community in large rooms. You know, you think too, viruses and whatnot. You know, you don't want to
become
get
more
sick.
susceptible, right?
You don't want to get sick when you're battling something like this, and it's a very aggressive. I mean, it's a stomach type of cancer, a stomach lining. So.
Well, I'm happy every time I see him on our news, which means
Yeah.
he's still up and doing things. And we wish you the best, Paul. I don't know if you'll hear this, but again, one of the finer public servants I've come across in my time here, and just a genuine down-to-earth guy. We have to throw it to break, so I want you to do that. How would we throw it to break? Because there's a couple things that we need to do. What do we need to do?
First, we got to hit.
We'll tell the folks what they're watching.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Is this interesting for folks? There's a panel.
No. Tell them the show they're watching.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is the. Oh, I thought
yeah,
I
this
was
is where you say,
you want me to-
you're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Yes.
325, 42 degrees.
Yeah.
Ted Perry along with Brett Lemoyne, who he's gonna get a regular shift here.
Yeah, sorry.
Now send us. Look, I see a telescope. I see several keyboards.
There's an end button.
Go ahead and press
that
it.
we need to hit. So I'm going to hit that,
Yep.
and we will be right back.
Watch us disappear.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey, quick reminder, Packers-Vikings kicking off this Sunday at noon. Fox NFL kickoff and Fox NFL Sunday before that. And the FOX6 Sports Split Sunday night at 10:30 with Tim, Brandon, and Lily. I want to bring up, go ahead and drop that and bring up our producer box, Delaney Reed. Do you agree with me, what I was talking to Brett Lemoyne about, is that there's a freedom in this show to go, that's important, and I want to talk about that for a while?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's nice. You get to talk about what you want and kind of spend a little bit more time on it.
Yeah. And I think we covered some good stuff today. We covered aging, we covered weather, we got to know Brett Lemoyne a little bit. I'd say it's been a successful hour.
I agree with that.
Okay. What do you want to do next Wednesday when I'm back?
Ooh, we'll have to look at what's going on.
I'm thinking of getting a gratitude expert on as we approach Thanksgiving. What do you think of that?
Oh, I like that idea.
Okay, let's get on that, you and me.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Delaney Reed, thank you very much. Our excellent producer, streaming producer here. She handles Wisconsin Live Desk, and she's in charge of a lot of shows here on Fox 6 Streaming Live. So it's been a pleasure to be with you. Again, where are you watching? Ted.Perry@Fox.com. I'd like to know where our viewers are. We'll see you back here. You'll see me on Fox 6 News at 5 and 10 tonight.